There's the one.
Didn't
that
we
I'm
do
looking
one
for.
where we all recorded one and then it didn't
Possibly.
wasn't streaming most of it or something?
Yeah, it might have happened. It wouldn't be the first time.
Probably, yeah.
Wow, we got 2 frozen cameras here. Wow, let's go ahead.
Me. Yep, I'm ready.
We're doing great here.
And here's Todd going to do anything.
Out of what, son? By the way, what have you been filling the fourth screen with?
Avoid. So it's been about the same.
Oh!
What I missed.
Oh, Joey got compared to a void.
No, Joey said, what have we been filling the fourth space with once he left? We said, avoid. Uh-oh, you had to go and pick up some new stuff?
Gotta get some new stuff.
What are we doing?
That's
I'm playing
Mike on Thursday.
The Dothraki?
Ah. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to You Got Me Monologuing. I'm Tony.
I'll pass well.
Grog. Oh,
I'm Joey.
we messed up.
Yeah.
Grognard Todd.
I was too busy looking at Todd's
Well,
story.
I guess I sat in the wrong spot. Is the problem? Should have sat over there.
Well, c'est la vie.
Say la vie. We'll get it. We'll get it for next time.
The problem is with someone who, probably has like mild ADHD, I got all the fun oohs and ahs.
There's a lot going on, right?
Meanwhile, for me, my ADHD is anything but mild.
That's right.
You always got a one-up me.
Well, we're all somewhere on the spectrum, right? I mean, that's why we all get along so well. That's why we created this community, so all of us can get along and
All right, so
hang out together.
Joey, as you're doing this,
Yeah, sorry.
you're kind of wobbling the whole camera rig.
Yep, I'll stop.
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
It's
back
a
up.
motion. You'll give our watchers motion sickness.
Our watcher, yeah.
Our watcher
You'll upset our viewer. Hey,
Later.
Big Daddy's here.
later when they
Welcome.
watch it in recording. Tony,
Absolutely.
record
Salut.
it. Record
Okay,
it.
so what are you looking at?
Wait, that's new
Dothraki?
packaging. What? Were those models mounted
No,
permanently?
they're cavalry.
So they're mounted on a base like King's War is?
Yeah. So these guys, because in most of the models in this game, you take off the models, and this one you don't. It's a solid chariot-sized base, and it just has a certain number of wounds, 6 wounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Unboxing live on tape.
It's nothing new. It's just new to me.
Does it come off the base and make it
No.
easier painting?
Nope.
No, okay.
You have to. You could pop it off. Like they just have little rivets on the bottom, so you can
Oh,
basically
You can actually those
cut
are
them or pop them
those
off.
are still glued in there.
Are
Because on a couple of my models, I snip the bottoms off to put the washers on the bottom.
Sure, yeah,
And the models still do not come up. So
okay.
they're pretty well welded in there.
yeah.
Good to
Okay.
know.
But yeah, I'm playing a game on Thursday, and I need this unit. So
Speaking of Thursday, we'll be in here Thursday playing Song of Ice and Fire, and we're going to have 2 other players.
nice.
We're going to have Joey and his best friend Quinn are going to be coming in to
nice.
play some.
What's,
Yeah, Mike's
Quinn's faction?
Yeah, what's he playing?
Night's Watch.
Nice watch. Very
He's
good.
been playing with my Starks for a while, and now that he's decided to go ahead, jump in and buy the stuff for himself. So
Uh-huh.
He's already got them all painted.
Wow, holy cow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a hobbyist and a gamer.
apparently, well, he was playing 40K a couple years ago.
Really?
I'm like, really? You're playing? Yeah, okay. So he comes over, he plays X-Wing. That's where he started, and then he got into 40K, and now Song of Ice and Fire.
Fresh meat. I mean, new players. That's always good. It's always good. Awesome.
All right, so God, these new glasses. I'm trying to get used to my new bifocals.
Oh, geez. Wow. Did you have bifocals before, or is this new?
So I did, but I didn't wear them because the field of vision. I got the traditional, not the traditional bifocals. The standard. What are they called? Transitions lenses.
Oh, yeah.
But the field was so narrow that on my phone, my computer, the mid range wasn't wide enough. and
Right.
So I just wore my regular glasses and I put cheaters on when I needed them.
Sure.
Well, now I'm trying to get used to these, and the doc's like, "Oh, give it a week or two."
Yeah.
And then I realized
Sure, it
that
does
with
take
the
a week
frames
or
I
two.
chose, I'm like, if it wasn't for this goatee, with the frames and the tapered haircut with the severe part, I'm stepping right out of 1959 Ward
with
Cleaver.
the shirt too for
Yeah.
a little bit.
The bowling shirt. I'm very Ward Cleaver lately.
Who's Ward Cleaver?
Oh boy.
No, that's okay because to be honest, that show was old when we were kids.
Oh, yeah. It was in repeats.
50s?
Was Leave It to Beaver. You ever hear of Leave It to Beaver?
The Cleaver.
I've heard of it. I don't really know anything
that was,
about it, though.
That was the dad.
Right.
Cleaver.
Right, and the show was basically about the ideal family in the late 50s, early 60s.
I think WandaVision episode 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Beaver
Alright.
Cleaver.
That was very Leave It to Beaver. That's a good call.
Yeah, that is a good call. Are we live here, guys? Because I
think
can't
we're live.
I can't find us. I'm bad at technology.
Hello, Caro WS9.
I am on
Yep.
the podcast, but
Caro
I
Caro's
can't
with
find the
us.
podcast or Twitch stream.
Let me see if I could just.
Wow, you really are bad. Yeah,
I'm awful. Well, I'm on it.
Todd, I just sent you a link in the messenger.
Well, but I'm on it. Like I'm literally on it. Oh my
What
gosh,
is-
I'm so awful.
Oh,
Here
you're
we
using
are.
the app.
There we go.
Hey,
I exist.
Hey!
Hi, everybody.
woohoo!
Excited that I exist. Turn this down here. Well, I have to.
There you go.
Okay, now I have to watch a commercial so that I can watch my own Twitch. Stream.
Well, so use your Prime subscription and subscribe to the channel.
Oh, can you do that?
Yeah, you
Oh.
can, and that gets rid of the commercials, and it gives us Jeff Bezos money.
Well, that's great.
Jeff Bezos.
It's just what I want to do.
More like Jeff Bezos rounding error.
Yeah.
Well, sure. Does it give us?
You can't.
You're killing me. Do we get to take some of Jeff Bezos' money?
Yeah.
Like some of his money? Like
Yeah.
he would have gotten it otherwise?
Yeah.
Or would he have just gotten it anyway?
So he's getting your Prime. He's got your Prime money already.
I'm choking.
And with this, every time you subscribe, Prime turns around and goes, "We're going to give this Twitch streamer
Ah.
X number of dollars."
It's essentially like sneaking into a dragon's lair and only stealing like 5 gold.
That's
There you go. I like that.
There
it's
we
like
go.
Smog, and you've got all that. Then you just get one little thing.
Yeah.
Jeff
And
Bezos
he
literally
still
is
he
a
still
dragon.
gets angry about it. He's still angry about it,
Is it bad I want Jeff Bezos' ex-wife money?
right?
I know. Yeah, I'd settle for Elon Musk money. You know.
Bill Gates' ex-wife money.
Right.
She gave most of it away, or
what
is
I'm
giving
saying.
most of it away.
I'm like, give it to us. Can we turn ourselves into a 501c3?
Well, we could, but that wouldn't do us any good.
We really need
Well,
to do
as long as my salary is equal
Joey's
to-
really worried about the thing here, but it doesn't look like we're bouncing too much on the screen.
No, it's not terrible.
but
It's
the
not,
we got a new. So everybody knows we got a new table, and this table it doesn't have quite. It's almost exactly as wide, but it's not as splayed out. You know, it's more up and down than
Right.
it is out splayed out. So it's probably going to get a little bit more side to side wiggle. So may have to do something to
yeah,
stabilize that.
to
yeah, I was
fix that.
thinking maybe add like a higher base to this.
Well, yeah,
Or just do a
thinking
double
of
wide,
or get some black pipe. You know, some nice,
actual black pipe.
yeah, instead of
Yeah.
half-inch PVC. They like
Right.
to watch it wiggle, see it jiggle.
Well, we can use all of our
Wiggle,
Twitch
wiggle,
money
wiggle,
to
wiggle,
invest in that now,
Oh,
right?
we could.
All of our subscriber money.
But I want to spend
All
it
of
buying
our
miniatures.
subscriber money.
I don't think that's
So
worth too
much
much.
subscriber money.
Yeah, I'll give you a softball to start off all the fun discussions. So, how do you feel about Joe Quesada leaving Marvel?
What? I didn't catch that.
You didn't?
I did not.
He
I've been-
literally just posted
Wow.
today that he's leaving Marvel after 20
Well,
years.
you're this
John Casada?
hot off the presses
Oh,
news here.
I thought
No,
Tony was tapped in there.
my work.
Well, I
I
figured.
have a project that I want to kill everybody on. I hate them all. And wow,
I feel like
someone's sucking.
Misty,
no, that's blowing, not sucking.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yeah.
it's Mega Man. He's got
Oh,
from Suck the Blow.
But who's Joe Casada?
Joe Quesada is
Casada.
Joe Quesada was an artist who became the editor-in-chief and then the chief creative officer for Marvel Comics.
Oh.
He's actually going to be here next month for FanFest, and I was going to have him and Kevin Smith sign my Daredevil #1 because I already got Jimmy Palmiotti on it, so I figured
Kevin Smith's going to be here.
Kevin Smith is going to be at Fan Expo.
And
Oh,
that's,
Fan
is that the
Expo. I
one
thought you
that?
meant in the store.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's going to be here. Here,
To be
to be
fair,
fair, he could.
he could come
He'd
here.
be the type of guy to come in here. You would.
Well, we need to. Here's what we need to do. We need to start just asking all of the rock stars or all the people that are going to be in the Chicagoland area, like, hey, you should check out
Ragnar Games.
And
We're all big
subsequently
fans.
right?
And subsequently, our podcast. You got
Yeah,
monologuing.
exactly correct.
Free
We
publicity.
could come on and we can do an interview. That'd be awesome.
That would be great.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say something. Oh, So, did I ever tell you about my idea for a TV show that I actually think I want to try and pitch Kevin Smith at the convention?
Go for
Well,
it.
you can pitch it to him, and he's just going
As
to
a
steal it.
partner-
You understand that, right?
Well, not if I give him, but yeah, I give him paperwork with dates and everything on
And
it.
just
Sure.
Parks and Recreation with one.
Sure, Tony. He'll find no way to get around that whatsoever.
Right.
Kevin Smith, multimillionaire, producer, creator, comic book nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll honor that.
A lot of writers and celebrities absolutely hate when you send them ideas
I
because
know.
then they cannot no longer.
Well, see, I would just want him as a producer, so I'd be pitching it to him to be the producer,
Sure.
the executive producer, and put me in touch with the right people.
Sure.
It's diners, drive-ins, and dives for nerds, where you travel the country and you stop in game stores and comic stores and pop culture places, and you do interviews with pop culture nerds, and we go visit Joe Manganiello in his D&D
Sure,
cave,
sure.
and then go to his local game store where he gets his stuff.
I mean,
Sure.
it's honestly a great idea.
Ooh.
Would you need some blonde bleach hair tips?
You could stop. You could stop by the Critical Role studio and see where they
See?
get their stuff.
there we go.
I would love to go.
Do you remember a show called Weird Chicago?
I do, yeah.
Basically, Weird Chicago.
Yeah.
'Cause that was basic. That's all diners, drive-ins, and dives is. It's,
Yeah.
it's kind of same
It's
idea.
nothing new.
Right. Right.
Well, yeah, but
But it's themed, right?
Right.
It's a theme.
it's a theme.
Nothing wrong with that.
Weird Chicago, and
That's right.
It's nerd culture,
All right.
Maybe we take a road trip down to Metropolis, Illinois, or go out to the birthplace of James T. Kirk,
Or Gary Gygax.
you
Go to
do,
the Dungeon Museum Shop.
you make it a road trip show where you travel from point A to like MegaCon or Gen Con, and you all along the way, here's the places we're gonna stop
And
and
you
check
hit
all
every
this
food
out.
truck on along the line.
See,
That's right.
This is what nerds eat.
And
This
then you,
is-
and then you travel
We
by
take a
map.
trip to New Zealand to go to Hobbiton.
Oh, I would love to do that.
yeah,
I would do that regardless, honestly.
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I mean, remember, Todd's going. He is going to go to Fan Fest for the Four Hobbits.
I just told my wife about that, and she said, "Honey, whatever makes you happy." I said, "Well, you know what else would make me happy? Would be flying to New Zealand to actually go to Hobbiton." She's like, "Well, first she said, would that be like your bucket list, you could die happy?" I said, "Well, kind of, but not just that." I said that'd be pretty close, but really the die happy moment would be being able to get to be in Hobbiton in New Zealand and get my picture taken in front of the green door and
Right.
and be able to walk across the bridge and do all that kind of stuff. I said then I could probably die happy.
I wonder if the bag end door in New Zealand Hobbiton actually has a little mark from the Hobbit.
I don't know what it's got exactly. I don't think you can go inside that. I think that's
I know.
He put it on the outside. Remember, he marked
yeah.
the door.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah,
if the
it's just
mark
like-
is there or not, but
It's just like a little. Just
because they redid all that stuff, but it's really cool. That's totally that's definitely a bucket list thing. I could die happy kind of thing. if I get to go do
100%.
that.
Did they record that for Hobbit reunion that they did the other day? They had it was like some expo in Dallas or something like that.
Because they're traveling around doing all
Right.
of them this year, so I'm not sure.
So
if
it's
they
going to
ever-
be here in Chicago.
yeah. I'm
next
just
month.
wondering if anyone's putting it on like officially licensed.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
So right now, Fan Expo right now, it's got me happy on both sides of the spectrum. My general nerd and my comic nerd are really happy with the guest lists that they've put out so far. What I haven't seen yet, and we are 6 weeks away from the show, I haven't seen a schedule yet. I haven't seen
Oh, yeah.
panels or anything.
Right.
And that's the one thing, because Wizard World, it's like they'll bring in one or two big names, comic guys, and then a bunch of smaller known people for Artist Alley, and then it's like the Doctors and the Next Generation crew and all that. And I still remember when it's like, yes, the Doctor Who panel and the Next Generation reunion panel are going to take place at the Rosemont Theater, so there's an extra $25 charge
Right.
on top of your $95 badge.
Let's just hope-
because fuck
Because
us,
they
right?
can, right? Yeah.
Let's just hope this doesn't turn into like
you
a
get-
DashCon situation where it's just major disappointment.
No. Fan
With this cast already,
Yeah.
holy moly.
It's really good. Yeah, I was showing my wife last night.
I mean, you got-
I told her Nathan Fillion's going, and maybe she would go. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, only for him, but that would be it. He would go see Nathan Fillion.
How about who wants to
Three
go?
of the Goonies.
Yeah, I was gonna say who wants to go? Well, four. Because Sean Astin's
Oh,
in it,
Sean
too. Don't
You just
let
make it
your
worse when
OCD.
you do that.
Right. Just let it be.
Did you guys see a movie in theater called
Clap your hand.
Everything Everywhere All at Once?
I haven't
No,
seen it
but
yet,
I've
but
heard a
everybody
lot of
says
good
it's
things
so
about
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best movie going experiences I've had in the last 5 or 6 years. And Ke Kwan, Jonathan
Yeah.
Kwan from Goonies and Indiana Jones Short Round
Right.
was in it, and he was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's gotten really really crazy good reviews. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like
I'm
to-
trying to
people are
It's
sa-
funny because they have both
People
him
are saying
and
it's a-
Ming Na Wen, who
Right.
was Fennec Shan, but they don't actually list the movie
Right.
in the credits, but
Right.
they're the two main leads from the movie.
And Ming Na Wen's been in a million things, right?
Oh, she's done everything.
she was Mulan.
She was Mulan. She was in ER, the TV show, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
for
where
years.
I think that was that one of her first things. That might have been her big break. I don't know. But
Yeah, because that was mid
was a long time
'90s.
ago.
Yeah,
I've heard a lot. I've heard some internet commenters saying everything everywhere all at once is a better multiverse thing than what Marvel's doing.
right, because
But
it's almost the same idea, right? Isn't she jumping from place to place? Yeah,
I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah. That's all I know about it. So
Speaking of content, holy crap, has it been a week of content?
right,
Yep.
So you had Star Wars Celebration just like spewed everything everywhere
and yet there
All
was
at
still
once?
some
all at once.
Everywhere, all at once.
problem is there was some con-exclusive stuff that we won't get to see.
Yeah, but that was the same way when we went to Celebration as well. You know that sometimes they do that. They put out the material.
do they
We're going.
do they take your cell phones when you walk in so you can't
No,
record?
there's
No.
some footage that was leaked on the internet. It's just
Right.
like 3/4 of an angle. You know, it's like the early days of like movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
leaking.
movie piracy.
Right, right,
It's just like,
Yeah,
would you want a 3/4 of an angle with some guy's head in the face like it's
right,
Mr.
right.
I would rather wait for them to upload the full 1080
For
or
sure,
4K
for sure.
and
Usually it's just announcements about. Is there like an announcement about something cool that's coming out that
There
they
was
didn't
a
announce,
full-
but now you know?
apparently there was a trailer from Mando season 3 that the general public does not have access to.
Gotcha,
right
gotcha. That's cool.
and Ahsoka. So and,
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, I've watched a couple of the descriptors, and there's a shot of her in the cockpit of the Ghost with Hera seated at the thing.
And I
You're
so-
gonna get live
There-
action Hera confirmed.
And I think there was a
and
shot.
Chopper.
and
I
Chopper.
think there was a shot
And
of
Ezra.
like the mural from
Yes.
the very end of the Rebels series.
So
finale.
one of the descriptors I saw said that they're recreating that final shot in live action.
Ooh.
So that might be how it starts. They're going to go searching for Ezra, and now she's back. Yada yada yada.
All I have to say that if Ezra has the same hair, I'm not watching it.
Wait,
he
you
got
mean,
the haircut at the end.
Did he get a haircut at the end?
it wasn't
Is
even. It wasn't even at the end. It was like halfway through the series.
His haircut made me
He
angry.
got a buzz cut.
I couldn't watch it anymore.
Yeah, it was like really short, kind of slicked back.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, he didn't have that goofy Luke Skywalker, bad Luke Skywalker
Right.
hair.
Yeah, it was kind of like space emo hair. Really.
Yeah, it really kind of was.
I will say I did see a bootleg of Mando season 3 trailer.
Yes.
I did see a bootleg of it. It is such terrible quality, but we're in for a treat.
Oh, that's good.
I'm looking forward to what they announced there, and then they've got the new show starring Jude Law called Skeleton Crew.
Yep. I thought that was live. I thought that was animated. It's live action.
Yep.
Apparently, Tales of the Jedi got announced, which is supposed to tell like the story of like a young Count Dooku and how Ahsoka got found and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They're just like it's like
And
a
it's
mini. What do you call it?
An anthology series.
Anthology.
And it's
Oh, that's
in the
cool.
Clone Wars animation style. That is the coolest shit.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, and
Wait, which one is Clone Wars? Not the Ezra one.
the one just before that,
Right.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Which was the same animation style, really.
I disagree.
One
It's not
was more
far off,
pointed, which was Clone Wars.
I like
Right.
the
Rebels
Clone
is
Wars
more.
better.
I like the Ralph McCoy.
The Rebels just felt more cartoony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Resistance was the worst.
Yeah,
Ah,
it was
disagree.
Didn't
creative,
watch
but
any of
did not look great.
I try not to crap on it, but the first half of that first season, no, the first 3/4 of that first season was terrible.
I mean, Clone Wars and Rebels in the beginning both had bad lighting and was flat.
Yeah.
Like as they
Shaky
went on.
starts.
Yeah. But I agree. Season 2 of Resistance was better than season 1 in terms of the animation style.
Yeah, in terms of everything.
And kind of
It still wasn't great, though.
on the topic of Clone Wars, Bad Batch season 2 trailer.
Yep.
Or at least the teaser. It looks like a lot of fun.
How did that end? Did it end with a cliffhanger?
Season 1 ended with Kamino getting destroyed and Crosshair not rejoining the team.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Right.
So now he didn't necessarily join. Or he had been employed by the bad guy, or they convinced him. Well, he still has a chip in his head, right?
No, that's the thing. He said his burned
took
out
the
long
chip out.
ago.
Oh, that was the twist, right?
Right.
Yeah.
They thought it was the chip the whole
They
time that was
thought-
controlling him. It was just him anyway.
Right.
So he might be kind of a bad guy. Or,
Yeah, he's still with the Empire.
Well, it's not that he's a bad guy. It's that he has a belief in duty, right?
Gotcha, right.
And it's that he's not willing to look at what he's being asked to do. Only that he's being
Just because
told to do it.
he's a bad guy does not make him a bad guy.
Yeah, and also I really like the new like orange and blue and white looks that the
Sure.
Bad Batch have.
As opposed to that slate gray look. And
Yeah,
Caro,
the gray and
I
dark
will
red.
disagree with you so vehemently.
Oh boy.
Lower Decks is goddamn brilliant. It's a Star Trek series about
How about
a bunch of
Products?
ensigns, and it's
Oh, yeah,
it's goofy. It doesn't, whereas like Discovery takes itself so seriously, and I can't.
Discovery's not that serious.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
boy.
But like
But
We're gonna get into a fight.
I've only seen like
I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
I've only seen like
Season
a
3 is the
few
best.
Lower Decks episodes all the way through, and even I have to admit, I love it.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love Lower Decks is just damn fun. Caro, you're wrong. It's okay to have a wrong opinion.
Wow.
I don't get angry at you for that.
So speaking of not taking itself seriously, isn't there a new season of and Star Trek? So this got me to Star Trek.
Yeah.
The train of thought.
Yeah.
The new
Strange New World?
Seth.
Oh,
Oh,
Orville.
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 It hasn't dropped. It hasn't
I don't think it's dropped yet,
yet.
but I just
coming
heard that
up.
it's coming out here. Is it the spring or the summer this fall?
Yes,
It's
I'm
coming-
looking forward to that as well. Hey, Blades, how you doing?
Okay, so here's the thing, and
This
this
is coming
is
from
the main
someone who
comment I want to
watched
make.
these Star-
We're living in a golden age,
Ah.
not the silver age, a golden age of television. With
We
so
really
much
are.
content.
And
And I stress this:
I Blade
if you
81.
don't like something, stop watching it. There's other stuff to watch.
right,
For that.
I don't have to hate on what you love to love what I love.
Hey,
Exactly.
Pasquale, may I make a suggestion? I know you like to talk with your hands.
Yeah.
Can you do that without your elbow on the table? Because that's
Oh,
what's shaking
okay.
this back and forth. I figured it out finally.
Hey.
Pasquale
Well,
talks with his hands.
It's the big Diego.
I know it's hard for us
Yeah,
Italians
I know.
to not talk with our hands.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's like the 11th Doctor. He just can't not do it.
But we had all of that drop. Yes, I'm looking forward to the Orville.
Yeah, super looking forward to that.
Kenobi blew me away. Those first two episodes. We're not going to
There's
talk
a fun
about it
little
yet.
Easter egg, and I want to say it, but I'll say it afterward.
It's so good.
I give it a solid 9 out of 10.
I say that's a winning recommendation.
Yeah.
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed the first two episodes.
They were.
I have some
You and-
I have some thoughts and I have some questions, and I don't think I'd give it a 9, but we can save that for our Kenobi discussion whenever that comes around.
Yeah.
100%.
Whenever we decide.
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Maybe,
After
maybe we can do like how many episodes do you know?
six.
6.
So we could probably do it.
Well, I was gonna say maybe we could do like after episode 4 or 5 comes out, we could do a 1 through 3 review. You know what I
All
mean?
right,
Like a
I'm down with that.
spoilery 1 through 3, and then do another one when it's over, so we can get our initial thoughts on the first 3 and
Yeah.
then thoughts on.
Yeah.
I will
I want
say-
to talk about it. You know?
So, and I will say that Ewan McGregor reminded me why I don't loathe the prequels, because he is so damn good.
I
in
actually
that
just
role.
rewatched Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones in preparation for Obi-Wan, and I will say I actually watched Phantom Menace a lot in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Attack of the Clones, I still absolutely love his Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There, he
Like any
is-
of my issues with it do not
Right.
stem from him.
absolutely not. Him and Qui-Gon Jinn, Liam
yeah.
Neeson was fantastic.
Well, how do you go wrong with those two actors, right? I mean,
Right.
those two-
Well, because you had Natalie Portman in the worst performance in her career.
Sure, but she wasn't them, so they were great. And she was awful.
I mean,
And,
I love Natalie Portman.
And you
in,
can say what you want to about the child actor. Okay, fine. And yes, we all know sand is gritty and gets everywhere. And we all
Right.
know those things are horrible. But but Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor were great, right?
They were, and yes, there were bright spots throughout.
Right.
And and that's why Joey and I came to the understanding. They're great moments wrapped in bad movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Personally, I still love the hell out of
The
them.
first movie I
Right.
still enjoy watching. You know, Jar Jar notwithstanding, I still enjoy
Right.
watching the first movie.
Well, yeah, it's just
The other two, I don't. I never have watched the second two on purpose. Like after like once after they came out, and then once at home, and I never watch them again on purpose. The first one I will watch as a oh, here it is, I'll just watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I won't do that for Attack of the Clones. I will do that for Revenge of the Sith because
It
that's
is genuinely.
to be perfectly honest. It had the Hayden Christensen's best acting in his career in one 30-second spot where he doesn't say a damn word. It's just him looking out and Padme looking out, and it had more emotion in that 30 seconds.
Sure.
And
I'm
apparently
glad
that-
you're bashing on him now because as soon as we get done with Obi-Wan and we'll see him acting,
Yeah.
I have a prediction to make, and
And
we'll see if it comes true.
Well, the thing of it is, we're going to get to hear James Earl Jones's voice or somebody else's voice as Darth Vader.
Somebody's gonna have to do it.
Right.
but and
And maybe he's gotten better in the last 20 years. Go ahead.
Spit it out, Joey.
I'm not sure if this is true. I heard this on the internet, so take it with a grain of salt. I think I heard that Revenge of the Sith was the only of the prequel movies where George actually had a script doctor.
So the story of the prequels is this. These prequels were born out of a 60-page history treatment that George Lucas created for what became the original Star Wars trilogy. You had 10 pages were The Phantom Menace, 10 pages were Attack of the Clones, and then the remaining 40 pages were Revenge of the Sith, because the meat of the story is really there. Everything that leads up to that is damn filler. I
But
know.
delicious, awesome filler that now Disney has mined gold mines. Of
Yes, and that's the
expanded
thing.
universe.
The Clone Wars cartoon made the prequels better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It absolutely did.
They even made politics fun
He-
somehow.
Right?
Here's the main thing I'll say. George Lucas sets up frameworks really well, builds universes like nobody else.
But his dialogue is awful.
His
He's a
dialogue and his directing. So every
technical
every piece-
director.
Yes, exactly. THX 1138. But every piece of him directing child actors and even people like Hayden Christensen and stuff, and then you see those same actors working with different more competent directors.
We'll fix that in post.
You mean I get to come with you in your starship?
We'll go ahead and fix it.
No,
there.
but here's the thing. I've seen Life as a House. I've seen Jumper.
I want to
I've
see Hayden Christensen with
Shattered
Child.
Glass.
That's all I'm saying.
He's terrible in all three. The only one he's passable in is Life as a House because he was playing an emo teenager who tried to autoerotically asphyxiate himself.
His voice dropped too.
Wait, what?
Yes,
What does
that's
that mean?
Let's not go into
we
it.
won't go that
Okay.
deep into it. But the thing is, he was playing an emo teenager, and that's all his mopiness was good for. I'm sorry. He's a nice guy. I'm happy that he's happy. I'm not gonna go out there. He's not a good actor. That's all I want to say.
And today we are bringing our fifth guest, Hayden Christensen.
Hey, there you go.
He comes in and force chokes for me.
Well, I offered
It's just regular jokes.
I did ask him to be my wife's birthday present at the second
Oh,
Star Wars
that's right.
celebration.
We said that on camera.
We've talked about
We've
that.
talked about that. So, I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a pretty face. He's not a good actor. That's all.
okay.
That's okay. Anyway, so Kenobi, Stranger Things.
Oh,
I've burned through
I
all
wanna
7
talk-
episoves
I gotta
already.
talk about that.
I am
I
still
haven't finished
only,
the first half season yet.
Yeah, I've only finished like 3 episodes.
We'll
so-
give it a couple of weeks so we don't
are
spoil
you
it
a
here.
horror guy?
Sure.
I have questions.
Absolutely.
No, it.
Yes,
so we'll
I'm an
save it for
80s
another-
horror guy for sure.
That's
so,
what I
yeah.
have questions about. So, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
save it for another podcast.
Yeah, and that's my
Absolutely.
favorite part of Stranger Things is picking out all the references. My
hell
wife
yeah.
keeps giving me evil looks because I'm like, that's like when that one movie occurred, and that's from that one movie, and you know why that's really cool is because of this one movie. And she's like, "Will you shut up?"
I do wonder if they actually have to talk to Wizards of the Coast to get the copyrights for like some of the monster names, like Demogorgon, Mind Flayer, all that stuff, and more specifically the villain for the 4th season. Who
Do you-
not
Oh, we
named
can.
because-
So here's my question: Do
It's
you
in,
think
yeah,
that
it's in the yeah.
they're paying them, or basically
vice versa.
Vice versa now.
Ooh,
I will say, Luke Gygax, Gary's son, one of his sons, put on a really nice
not E.
post
Gary.
out. No, not Gary Gygax Jr. Luke Gygax put out a really nice kind of a thank you and a kind of a hey, it's really cool that the character Vecna that his dad created so
Right.
many years ago is still around and still being used in pop culture and has kind of been brought back by the whole Stranger Things and said, just it's really cool that this thing my dad created is still around, and I wish he was here to see it because I know he'd be really proud of it, and
Right.
really happy
It's in
that
the
it's still
popular
in the
record.
zeitgeist.
There's a bunch of teenagers watching Stranger Things that think the Duffer Brothers came up with these names.
right.
Yeah.
There was a loud car outside.
Yeah, and it
Freaks
was.
Tony out.
No, was it? Did you hear it? Just
I felt the bass.
Yeah, I can hear
it's
it.
really loud in the headphones. That's what was freaking me out. That's why I'm like, what the hell is that?
I know.
I'm just kind of wondering if Vecna ends up getting destroyed, what monster they're going to use for season 5.
Well, and that's going to be the last season, right? They
Yeah.
said they're
It
going
could
to
be
do
the
5
Mind
seasons.
Flayer Redux.
Oh, wait until
He was already in 2
the
seasons.
fact
that
that
would be pushing it.
first of all, all the seasons up to this were 9 episodes, I think, maybe 10.
Sure, yeah.
I think season. No, I think season.
Well, they were
1 and
also
3
50
were.
minutes long, as
Right.
opposed to now we're getting hour and a half.
We got an hour and 40-minute
they're
episodes,
longer,
and apparently 2 of the last 3 episodes
They're like movies.
are
themselves.
movies.
That's cool.
And yeah, so we're getting so much, but it is
I think it's too long. But
no.
Okay,
The end of end
end
of
is
episode
fantastic.
7 was
episode 4 and 7 are my faves, but we can talk about it.
Okay, seasons 1 and 3 were 8 episodes. Season 2 was 9, and season 4 was 7.
But
well,
also, if you
no.
look at
Season 4 is going to be 10 episodes, with the last 2 of the last 3 being
Right.
movies.
but also take a look at
essentially.
run times and total minutes
Right.
of those seasons.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we're definitely going to have to talk about that because I think this might be my favorite season since the first, and it really rivals the first, I think.
True that.
I don't know. I'm struggling with it a little bit.
Okay.
It does tend to kind of become a one-trick pony. I mean, it's a fun trick. I really enjoy it. I really I enjoy the
Yeah.
heck out of it. But it does kind of seem like just keep doing the same thing over and over. It's a little formulaic, but the kind of everything is formulaic. Kind of
Right.
all the '80s movies were formulaic.
Right.
Well, this kind of broke the formula, and I feel like the best thing about those 80 movies that we grew up with were the kids always doing something together.
Right.
And right now the kids are split in a way.
Yeah.
Sure. And,
Well,
and
that-
but that happens in every '80s movie.
Right.
Correct. So obviously,
And story, and it's not always just movies either. It's stories. There's a lot of Stephen King in there. There's a lot
Don't
of
split the party.
split the party, right? But they always end up doing it. And that's what the bad guy always does, right?
Right.
So
Split the party. One of them ends up fighting Vecna. The other Tiamat. The third a freaking Tarask.
Yeah, we were kind of joking about that. I'm trying to figure out. It's like because he asked me, he's like, "Who's going?" I'm like, "Well, they could always do. I don't know, Baphomet.
Right.
That would be fun."
kinds of fun. There's all kinds of
And
good time
But
baddies.
like me not knowing who Baphomet was, actually kind of thought he meant Bahamut, the Platinum Dragon.
He's
Yeah.
a good guy.
He
Yeah,
is a
I
good
know.
guy. I'm
Yeah,
like,
when
no.
if we take a deep dive into that once this half season, we've all had some chance to watch it and digest it. We can
Absolutely.
because I'd love to go through all the references because
Yes.
obviously you've got all the movie
Oh,
references, but also obviously all the D&D references. There are a lot of D&D references that are in there that Easter eggs and things that I can pick out that are influenced by. Whether or not the Duffer Brothers did them on purpose or not, but a lot of them for sure they did. Even like the titles of the episodes are very D&D.
Oh yeah, the completely
Yeah.
So
have been since
Right,
the beginning,
exactly,
right? Yeah, and the only thing I'm going to mention is I had to explain to Spence that the Satanic Panic was real in the
Oh,
80s.
yeah.
yeah,
How many people wanted to punch that kid?
yeah. Well, that's-
Oh no, I wanted to do so much
they're-
worse.
Again, we'll talk about it later, but they're doing a real good job with that.
Yes, they really are.
Yeah.
So let's find a way to segue. Here's how we're going to segue.
Honestly, I had a really good segue earlier when I mentioned that comment about everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should have waited till we were ready to segue into the segment. Before
I
you
got a new
do
name
this.
for you. Speed bump.
Nothing wrong with that.
Anyway, so we're here today, ladies and gentlemen. We gather here today.
Oh, jeez.
To
Speaking
talk
of Satanic
about,
Panic.
Yeah, right. We talk about Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Spoilers.
Everything here is going to be a spoiler
We're all
from
spoilers.
there.
We should just
all the
get,
time.
We should just get like one of those
Spoiler.
buttons you can post where it says something and just have it say
Spoiler, spoiler.
Spoiler.
Soundboard.
So-
once we get enough
Bezos dollars.
Bezos dollars, we'll get a
We'll
soundboard.
buy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a soundboard now. I need the stream deck is what
Whatever
I
you
need.
call it. Yeah.
So anyway, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Let's start with Joey. What is your first gut reaction to that movie? What did you think?
Really really fun. I really like the visuals. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Characters, I felt meh. Just, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Todd.
I'm kind of on board with that. Like, I don't know how I felt about the ending, and I felt that it's always hard to have a character heel turn, and what's the appropriate amount of influence or thought or conversation or bad things have to happen before somebody figures out, oh gosh, I really shouldn't be doing it this way. I should be doing it another way.
Right.
And really, Wanda kind of does it multiple times across different, genres, from movie to TV back to movie. She's heel turning all over the place, and it just never quite feels perfect, I guess. But I don't know how much. If you spend too much time on it, then it's like, oh, they're beating the dead horse.
Right.
And if she does it too fast, you're like, oh, she just heel turned, and there was no reason for her to do that, right?
Right.
So it's always hard to gauge that, I think, for any kind of production.
And we'll go into that in a moment too. Pasquale, let me get your first thoughts.
I thought it was a good. Everyone likes to focus on Wanda's journey, but I also really enjoyed two main aspects of it: the Sam Raimi-esque influence, which I'm sure we'll deep dive into.
Oh, hell yeah.
But one, the character development of Doctor Strange from a very
Controlling?
he's all about him. He's a narcissist.
Yeah.
To then being able to delegate by the end of the movie.
Sure.
So that's what I liked. Everybody was focused on WandaVision's character heel turn.
WandaVision, you mean Scarlet Witch?
Well, yeah, Wanda to,
From WandaVision.
From Wanda to Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I was also, and I'm glad I am not one of those people that get so bogged down in their expectations
Yes.
that I couldn't enjoy the movie, because the way WandaVision kind of set up Doctor Strange, I was anticipating that the kids actually come back as a result of some multiverse shenanigans. Like, she actually would bring them back, but,
Right.
D.
that didn't
Snyder
happen.
saved us all?
Never mind. Carry on.
So, yeah, those were my, and then we'll go into the Sam Raimi stuff.
Go watch Cobra Kai. You'll understand.
The what? What do you say?
I just made a comment on the thing.
Oh,
Said, go watch season 2 of Cobra Kai.
what
You'll
did you
understand.
think? Oh, yeah, yeah.
I really love this movie. In the comics, Wanda does a 10-year spiral into madness, right? 'Cause
Right.
It was a long build. You can't really do that well. But, I mean, in all reality, she loses, first of all, she's corrupted by the
magic.
Mind Stone to begin with, right?
No, the Darkhold.
No.
Initially.
Initially, in Age of Ultron, they used the Mind Stone. Which stone was it?
It was the Mind Stone, but, they didn't use it to, control her. That was just sort of all.
But they used it to develop, give her powers, to bring her, and it was a corrupt influence of Baron Strucker, right?
Yeah.
So it convincing that she's, that Tony Stark is evil, and she did all this bad shit then to begin with. She turned hero by the end of the movie, but she loses her brother, and as a result, she lost her parents because of Tony Stark. But then she finds Vision, and then they get ripped apart, and all of this just kind of spirals.
She's supposed to kill Vision, the one man
And then
she
it-
ever loved.
And then it doesn't even work.
Right,
Right.
because then they just turned it back and ripped his skull out anyway, and
Right.
it didn't matter. So, we've been dealing with a broken woman from the beginning, really. I mean,
I guess I wish they had just done a little bit more to emphasize. It's like if they, because I think they wanted that scene in the orchard so bad that if they before that, if they did some sort of I don't even know what,
Previously shown.
something like that in a movie fashion,
Yeah.
that she was still having issues, or if they had done something in the orchard to show that she's still suffering, or she's still focused on one thing that maybe Doctor Strange didn't see like before he showed up, because the classic, they did a good job with it. I think the classic, oh, I didn't say her name.
Right. Yeah, that was kind of
She caught herself. I thought it was a clever way to do that old trope.
Right.
So they didn't do it quite so tropey. It's like she was self-aware, and it's
Right.
almost a wink to the audience that was so self-aware, right?
Right.
So I kind of thought that was clever, but I wish they had done just a little bit more to show that she was kind of broke before she went full kind of BS crazy on everybody, because
Right.
boy, oh boy, did she go BS crazy.
Yeah, because we all thought at the end of WandaVision that the Darkhold, she was going to use the Darkhold for good.
Right.
She was
just kind of assumed that,
Right.
although it was still. I mean, when you look back now,
It's like, oh shit!
now you look back and it's like, oh yeah, that was very sinister. Like,
Right.
she's floating up there listening to her, and she hears her kids like, oh yeah, that's pretty sinister.
Yeah.
Now it's way more sinister than it seemed at the time, but it is very
It's
sinister.
the whole dark
It's
side
just
of
a
the
book
Force.
called The Darkhold.
Right.
Well, but the thing is, the Darkhold was used in Agents of Shield at one point in time too.
Or maybe if we knew more about the Darkhold, like I didn't know anything about the Darkhold,
Right.
other than it's a book that is forbidden or whatever. Right.
Right.
That's really kind of all
And
you knew.
throughout Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange is trying to use the Darkhold for a positive purpose. It's about the intent versus why you have it. And so, yeah, I can kind of see that. You're right. I was so lulled into that
Right.
sense of, okay, she's come to her senses. So now she's she's learning more about herself from the Darkhold and learning
Right.
about her powers and learning how to control it better. No, she's going batshit crazy.
Right.
And
the leap from controlling the people in her town, yeah, that's an evil act, and she didn't outwardly, she did enslave a bunch of people, which is no argument there. That's an evil act, right? That's bad times. But she didn't slaughter a bunch of people. And she went from A to B, where she's slaughtering everybody up at the
Illuminati.
the stronghold,
Yeah.
Illuminati, but also where she's murdering
Camartage.
the Camartage.
Right.
She's murdering dozens of people. It's like, holy cow, man! She really jumped up. It felt very Danny Khaleesi on the dragon at the end of Game of Thrones, where suddenly she's got everything she wanted, and now she's just going to murder everybody anyway. Like,
well, and
what
here's the
hell,
thing.
man?
Here's the thing that I kind of put together too, because you say it's about a broken mother, right? A mother will do anything for her child, and
Right.
yada yada. Wanda was never a mother. She created those out of her.
But she
grief.
created the children. What the mother creates her children.
So,
But it was all a construct of her own mind to deal with the grief of losing Vision the way she did.
Right.
So she was. It's not like she raised those kids from the time they were
Right.
born until for 10 years. It was she plucked
like
them out.
Jem Hadar, they reached maturity in about 3 days.
Right.
Bravo.
And also, Vision is technically still alive because,
White Vision?
The White Vision. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And-
okay, so here's the thing. Here's my main prediction. I don't think Wanda is dead. Just that iteration of Wanda is dead.
And we may well get it. But here's the. Yes, I think you're right, because nobody ever stays dead in comics, right?
100%.
Except for Uncle Ben and Martha and Bruce Wayne.
And even
Everybody else comes.
And even some instances for those last two, they can somehow come
Yeah,
back.
we still have to get origin stories from them every single freaking movie. But so yeah, they're never back to life. But how come I've seen them 15 times a movie?
Yes.
What about that other Wanda, when they break in and they're on the couch and stuff like
Yeah.
that? The other Wanda?
Wanda B.
Yeah. Wanda B, who had her children and had her emotions under control and
Is
raised
she
those kids.
technically dead? I mean, like, all those other that
No,
version of the Scarlet Witch is dead, obviously, but...
So, and that really depends. I mean, they've got freedom now to take this where they want, because she killed not only the Darkhold was destroyed, but Mount Wundagore was destroyed in the 616.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for the mention of the 616 and bringing that all together.
Oh, yeah, we haven't even
The
gotten
Marvel
that yet.
Universe. I appreciated that, but yeah, it's Mount Wundagore in the comics is really the source of Wanda's power, right?
Right.
That's where her magic comes from. So, and the fact that she was able to destroy the Darkhold in all universes, what does that mean for her? How does she, if she comes back, how do they do that? Well, they've got a clean slate to start with. But Wanda Maximoff has always been a kind of a weird character to me.
Well, you made her more powerful in the comics than Thanos in the comics.
She could be, yeah, she could be in theory because it was.
Well, and in the last movie, she was taking on Thanos all by herself and was about to win.
Yep.
And in that scene, I can't remember which one it was, Infinity War or the other one. Endgame. She had just killed Vision. It was like 15 minutes before. Like Vision just died. She just came back, and now she's ripping Thanos apart.
Yeah,
I can't remember. She got clobbered or something, right?
The only reason
Thanos
Thanos wasn't killed outright is because he ordered his ship to rain fire on the battlefield.
That's something I knew had happened there. But yeah, so she's even in the MCU where none of the heroes are nearly as powerful as they really should be in the comics. She was still probably the most powerful, right?
And what makes her powerful is the unpredictable nature of her magic. When they started off, she had the ability to hex people.
Right.
She basically manipulated probability with a twinkling, but they made her more and more powerful. And even the kids, I always found it weird. Even back in the 80s when I was reading this, I'm like, and by the time I started reading comics, Wanda and Vision were married at that point in time. But I'm like, wait a minute. Vision's an android. How the hell did he produce children?
Right.
What? Huh? And then they came up with a really weird and convoluted storyline where the children were actually slivers of Mephisto's soul manifested.
Oh.
Oh, so that's
Sounds
why.
very
So that's why so many people wanted him to show up in WandaVision.
That's exactly why they wanted
Very
Mephisto there.
comic booky.
Yes. But at one point she goes crazy and she wrecks the Avengers in a story called Avengers Disassembled.
Right.
And then creates the House of M, which is an illusion. And at the end of it she realizes, oh no, that's bad too. No more mutants.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's going to got rid of all the mutants, right? Yeah. That's
So-
how powerful she was.
Yeah. I mean, she's been mega powerful. Let's talk about Sam Raimi being Sam Raimi.
Oh yeah.
That's always good times. I mean,
This
He
was
definitely got Army of Darkness done with the bigger budget.
This movie is easily I want to say it's the most well shot movie. Eternals was supposed to be the best looking one. I feel like this was the best looking one.
well, Eternals had amazing cinematography.
Yeah.
This one did too, but in a different way, I think. I
Yes.
mean, all the shots in Camertage were really cool, and even just the opening scene, the big kind of fancy New York City street scenes were really, really shot well. I thought those were really, really cool. I noticed that, when I was watching,
Right.
and not just the giant monster that was invisible and then
Shumagora.
eating everything, right? It was. I noticed how cool it did. Remind me a little bit of Spider-Man. When they're going up the walls and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's a little Spider-Man. It was kind of cool.
I also love the bits.
Oh,
where-
wait, no, extra.
Also a Sam Raimi, right?
Yeah.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Was
Absolutely.
what I'm pointing at there.
I also love all the bits where it's like the different fade in, fade out images, like a transition from Wanda's orchard to just Wong in Camartage. That was creative. Or like when Mordo from the other universe was like explaining dream walking, and it was just like also had all these images of Wanda prepping the ritual. I thought those were all really creative and nothing like anything I've seen in any other Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I will absolutely give you that.
And of course, you have to have zombies. So
100%.
And I will say my favorite thing in movies these days is to locate Chekhov's gun as early as possible, and nothing like a dead Doctor Strange as your Chekhov's gun. I'm like, that was the most
Buried on a roof.
that was the most Chekhov's gun zombie of all time. Anyway, it was so funny. I'm like, well, he'll be back. I mean, even if you hadn't seen the
thing that
previews,
propelled
you
him.
knew he was going to be back, right?
Yeah, the one thing I'm curious about when it comes to Zombie Strange was the degradation on the face makeup or CGI?
Yes.
It was really well done.
The
was.
answer these days to any question of is it visual effects makeup or is it visual effects computer generated answer is both.
Yeah,
Right.
They're doing
Well, the good ones are, and when I was having this conversation the other day with some of the people on the stream about one of the things that I do love about the Star Wars TV universe is their use of so many more practical effects again.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one thing about Kenobi. It's in the opening sequence, and nobody should be surprised that you get a flashback to Order 66.
Right.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
But the thing that I loved about it is those clone troopers burst in the room wearing armor. They looked like people wearing armor.
Well,
and when they fell,
yes,
when
right.
they fell like people in armor, and they sat there and existed within that space. And I think
there was a weight to the CGI.
yes,
Yeah.
That wasn't that.
Oh well, no. Well, here's why I'm confused. So they said when you had that cameo of Tamara Morrison,
Yeah.
Kenobi, that was the first time that clone trooper armor physically existed. So that's why I was confused about the opening scene.
Yeah,
As if that's actually CGI or physical.
I
props.
don't. I think those are physical props.
But
That was
regardless,
fake.
just the lighting
But-
on that temple now, it didn't even look flat.
Right.
Either. Like, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like,
it's advanced, but the use of practical effects and like you said, that makeup in that movie was likely a combination of practical that is enhanced with CGI, which is what I think is the best use of CGI to create these kind of characters.
It's like with Voldemort's nose. It's like a lot of makeup and then like just
They removed
CG out
his
the
nose, right, but not his
Simple.
whole face.
Simple, but it looks great.
I think a lot of one of the first uses of the Two-Face makeup in Dark Knight.
Yeah, like it was originally going to be like all makeup, but Nolan decided no, I want it to look more like we took away rather than like added on.
Yeah.
So they switched to the CGI.
Right.
So I have a feeling they did like the Doctor Strange makeup, and then they started carving things off.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah,
about
it
right.
was a cool look. I mean, it looked and felt very, very Raimi for sure.
But like even like the jerking motions and stuff of like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the thing is, stop motion animation back in the day, like the Harryhausen stuff. There is like there's dropped keyframes. There's a jerky motion to it. Nowadays, they can make stop motion very seamless, and it could look like very smooth, but it doesn't look stop motion animation then. So they're intentionally adding a lot of that like jerky motion, and that's what I love. That
Right.
even you got a Marvel, you got $200 million to work with, we're still
It's
making it
a
look
little bit of an homage to those kinds of
Right.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when they're showing super crazy, otherworldly, bizarro world stuff. I mean, that's kind of the point, right? It's almost, again, it's kind of a wink at the
Just got
camera,
out of
right? It's
hand.
a little bit of above a fourth wall break.
right.
Yeah.
Were we painting one world?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Did you
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we
do
don't want-
not
you don't
wanna
want to go back there.
You do not want to get stuck in there. It's really hard to eat anything.
That was a great line.
It was.
a good
Why don't you talk about America Chavez? Because I don't have the comics history.
So America Chavez is a relatively new character. She's
Yeah.
only been the last 10 years, I think, maybe even less than that.
I'll look it up.
I don't know much about her myself. I know she's a member of the
she an
Young
Eternal?
Avengers. Young Avengers. She's not an Eternal. Yeah, and yeah. I honestly, I never read any of the books, but
She's only been in comics since like 2011.
so yeah, 11 years she's been around, and her first appearance. I can tell you that her first appearance has exploded.
And I brought this up to my dad before, but I love how they actually like de-aged her, like from like a somewhat adult woman to like
They did that for that specific actress. I read that today.
okay, but
Yeah.
I also like the implication of instead of just is she gonna kill this random person to take her powers, and instead it's just like, is Wanda literally going to kill an actual child?
Is she going to
Like,
kill the child to
that's-
save
oh,
her
yeah,
children?
That adds
Yeah. No, that's
so-
a great reference.
that
Good idea.
adds so much more like
Evil.
and like stakes.
Somehow she's able to murder dozens of people at Camertage, but if she kills one child to save her own children, now that makes her evil, right? It's
Well,
like,
yeah.
It's all the justification
Well,
people
it
like
is-
to do.
right. I get it. I'm not
Terrible.
disagreeing. I'm just saying that
Like,
that's everybody takes a lead.
adults and children are like a different line.
Sure, sure. I get it. You're absolutely right. It just, I don't know. Some of that felt a little weird. I did like her character. I thought the actress did a great job.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to find, and I don't know how old she is in real
Yeah.
life. Like maybe she's 23. Like I have no idea. But
There were people
Maybe she's older,
complaining
I have no
about
idea.
the character.
I thought she did a real good job. I thought it was a good character. I thought it made sense. I liked her backstory.
I agree.
I liked that she had this weird kind of you know, I kind of hate, if you will, and in Kenobi we can talk about that, the precocious child meme, right? The trope,
Sure.
right? Where she's 10 years old, but wise beyond her years, and America Chavez was, but then they give you a lot of reasons as to why.
Right.
She's been hopping multiverses for literally could be hundreds of years, like, because time works different in these different universes.
Right.
She could have lived literally generations in one universe and then come back and be the same age or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
I
Even
did
though
kind of like that idea about
she's
her character.
visited 67 different universes.
Right.
Something like
I
that.
don't know
like
the
that.
exact number, but that sounds pretty
And time
close.
works different. They talked about that in some
Right.
of these places, and so I really
Yeah.
kind of like that she's a little bit smarter than she might be. She's got this weird wisdom about her, but it makes sense because of the experience. that she's had.
The universe hopping, and of course we can't talk about Sam Raimi being Sam Raimi without talking about Wanda covered in oil.
Oh, no, let's be honest. There was a bit of blood on there too.
Well, that's the thing. All of the deaths, with the exception of Peggy Carter, all the deaths were relatively bloodless, right? You know, she made, and that blew me away.
Black
Anson
Bolt.
Mount?
Black Bolt,
Yeah.
Anson Mount. Now, first of all,
by
kudos
the
to
way.
Kevin Feige for that, for actually bringing Black Bolt from that god awful Eternal show
Perlmutter.
Not Eternals, Inhumans.
or Inhuman show. Thank
yeah.
you. That one I think was just bad writing. I'm not.
I
gonna-
think that was everything.
I wanted.
everything.
That was
They
everything.
literally cut off Medusa's hair. Like, the
Right.
one thing that made her cool.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
But they actually gave Anson
Anson.
Mount a second chance. I think he had just the right amount of cockiness, and because he's the High King, so he's kind of got that. And then they took away his one power and made him kill himself. I thought everything about Black Bolt in that I absolutely loved, because I hate the character. And I was I'm
Do
not.
you hate the character pre
Yeah,
TV?
yeah. It's
You
not.
always hated the character.
It's not. It's not even that I hate him. It's just like the Inhumans. I go, other than Lockjaw, I just kind of go,
Yeah. Lockjaw.
Honestly, I do really like how he is a mute character just because his voice is so loud it destroys everything. Like, but that makes it so he.
Joey knows all about that.
Yes. Yes.
Ah!
Yes, I am Black Bolt. For any, I don't speak too loud in your direction. But I love.
Bravo, kid.
I do love that for his character, mainly because he has to like get across like all this authority and stuff just through his presence alone.
Yeah.
I love it when characters just have this authority through their presence, like Darth Vader.
So
And he
his
was
authority
intimidating.
comes from the fact that he could open his mouth and destroy the entire world.
Yes,
But
but Anson Mount, because you've got him in this, and then right now he's in Star Trek.
Which
Strange New
oh,
Worlds.
He's awesome. Like,
He's spectacular in that show.
Yeah,
What's the matter?
I was gonna.
You're
just
gonna-
like-
can't help it.
Yeah. Do we have to handcuff you to the
Yeah, we
chair?
pretty much do. Yeah.
my hands are.
let's
my
get some
back.
CA.
Yo,
All that.
he pulled that off, and I'm loving him in Star Trek, and I loved him in this, despite the fact that the character, the Inhumans in general. I know they're Kirby creations. I know it's sacrilege. I don't care about the Inhumans at all. It's not that I don't even hate them. I just
don't care.
I just don't care.
That's Silver Age, isn't it?
I'm not. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah,
Kind
exactly.
of like that.
Okay, let's walk to the other one. What I really want to know is, because before we get to the Fantastic Four stuff,
Well, yeah. We can talk about the
Stu-
Illuminati.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about the Illuminati. Patrick Stewart, awesome cameo.
Yeah.
We kind of knew about him a little bit because everybody surmised
We
his
heard the
on
voice.
the trailer.
Oh yeah,
I mean, the guy. I mean, he's awesome, and that's a distinct voice.
and I love.
I don't think he's going to be like around. I don't know. Like, I don't think they can kick off another X-Men. Like,
No.
he's just unfortunately too old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's done. I think
Yeah.
this is it.
I think this
is
was
his
his-
That was
Yeah,
just
good.
a nice little.
Honestly,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
if we wait long enough, we could probably get James McAvoy back because he will actually be that.
Well, that's
old.
what I mean. I mean, there's ways to do it, but I'm talking specifically
All right.
Patrick Stewart.
So-
And give him the yellow chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
the hover,
green
the
suit.
hover
Dude, it
chair.
was- I was all about that.
And
that
the-
was my nerd moment right there.
Exactly.
That was the exactly. That was the only comic that I really collected when I first started collecting comics in
Yeah.
the '90s, and then of course the cartoon was
The
out.
cartoon.
So
Because
that was
they
my
never did it
jam.
in any of the movies.
Right.
Well, and it's
And yellow.
and the it's scored by Danny Elfman, and he had to pull.
Right,
It's
right.
like, hey, roll him out, and all of a sudden you're just really faint. He slowed down the tempo just enough, but I heard that and I was like,
That was pretty cool.
Oh, but amazing.
The man gets to do Batman and X-Men.
I mean,
Anyhow.
so
Yeah, that was super cool. I was super jazzed about that, and I loved all the Illuminati stuff. And back to Black Bolt real quick.
Yeah.
There was that scene where Wanda just, John
Krasinski.
no.
Oh.
John Anderson's his face.
Oh yeah. Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
When she does that, it reminded me so much of the scene in the What If where Thanos is like, "I'm gonna do," and then Ultron just goes beep, cuts him in half.
Oh yeah, Thanos just shows up.
It's like, let's just not beat around the bush here. Like, let's
Right.
just do the things that the actual hero could actually do.
Right.
And Wanda just went, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm done with you.
It makes you wonder how short movies would actually be if
I love that stuff.
If they were less cocky, yeah.
It makes me laugh so hard when I laugh out loud on in the What If episode when that happened. I'm like, oh my god, that's hysterical.
It's
And
when
the
you're
same thing. It was the same
Yeah.
scene. It had the same vibe.
Godzilla versus Bambi.
it's when you're 12 years old, you're trading things, and you'll be like, well, my favorite character is this because we can kill that character.
Look it up
Right,
on your
right.
phone
Yeah.
right now.
Godzilla
If you
versus-
do
Oh wait,
not,
no, that's actually something of yours.
oh
No, it's a real thing.
So all right, hang on. I'm gonna do.
So while everybody looks up, I'll be the
Yes,
Jeopardy,
please.
the
Godzilla
Jeopardy music.
versus Bambi.
No, so when it comes to the fight, right? Of course, the first Black Bolt is the big threat, apparently. So
Right.
she's just going to go, well, now you're done. Because he's the easiest to nullify, right? Everybody else she has to kind of mess with a little bit, even though you would think...
I would think Peggy Carter would actually.
I was going to say, even you think Captain Carter or whatever would be the easiest because she's just a super soldier, right? She's just a human
Right.
being that's really strong and coordinated. But I did like how they handled that, where she kind of goes, oh crap, and just takes off and goes the other direction. Was able to distract her with what's her face, not Captain
Maria
Marvel.
Rambeau.
that is Captain Man. That is
That is a version of Captain
Yes.
Marvel.
Maria Rambo.
Maria Rambeau, yeah. So I liked how they two of them worked together,
Yeah.
and of course
All
he
right.
just looks at Mr. Fantastic
From
and just goes, "Sorry,"
1969, ladies
he
and gentlemen.
unravels. Like I love that was kind of the same thing, right? I'm like,
So there's a pitch meeting series I watch on YouTube that had a really good joke about Captain Carter's death, where it was just like, oh, and how does Scarlet Witch deal with Captain Carter? 50% off. Oh, that's a really good deal.
God.
That was.
But again, just almost disregarding everybody out of hand, right? It's
Yes.
like, even though, some of them bounced around a little bit, and some of them gave up a little bit of fight, but she just basically has to look at each of them, and they just fall apart in whatever way she can make them fall apart. And just from an energy kind of superhero-y, Captain Marvel is going to be the most powerful because she's made of pure energy, or she can manipulate all this powerful energy, but it doesn't matter because energy is irrelevant when you've got chaos magic.
Right.
Which is why, again, back to Professor X, my favorite, of course, he's the one that could actually get into her head and actually mess with her. And he got right there and almost did it.
And he had to almost do it only because it's a plot device.
Because it's a plot device, of course.
The one thing that annoyed me was that they killed Captain Marvel, Maria Rambeau, by rocks.
Right.
Like, with the power we've seen...
Well, she didn't have any paper, so
There you go.
or Lizard Spock.
That's a little bit of a plot device.
Yeah,
too, right?
yeah.
A bit,
Well,
a
what's
big
the
enough
opposite of
rock hit
plot
you in the
armor?
head, right? Yeah, but if she needed to live, that rock would have been at the last second would have been jettisoned into outer space because her energy would have pushed it away.
right.
If they wanted, so obviously Maria Rambeau, I think will continue to exist in Marvel. Like they'll have that actress do other stuff.
Yeah,
But-
maybe.
Well,
If they wanted that specific,
She's dead. She died during the blip of cancer.
Only in 616, she could still be alive in the others.
So what you're gonna have, yes, but you're going to get very minimal crossover from these. I don't think you're
Can
gonna.
I ask a clarification
Yeah, of
moment,
course.
please? So she's not the same actress and/or character from WandaVision, or she
No,
is?
the actress from WandaVision was playing her daughter. That is the actress from the Captain
Okay.
Marvel movie.
From
'Cause you-
the Captain Marvel movie.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
So essentially, if you take a look at the uniform that she's wearing there in
and she's a
Doctor
separate
Strange,
power. She's a different character.
She is what Carol. She becomes what Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel is.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Basically, essentially, she
Different
got the
universe,
power.
she became the power as opposed to
exactly
what's her face.
as opposed
Yeah.
to
Gotcha.
Right.
And then the
Yeah.
character from WandaVision in that universe is her daughter.
correct.
But
Yeah.
it's still a different universe anyway.
No. That's back in the well.
That is the same universe? I'm so confused.
okay. WandaVision takes place in the 616 in the
Right.
standard Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
yeah.
So the Monica Rambeau Monica Rambeau is the daughter of Maria Rambeau. Maria Rambeau died during the blip of cancer.
Oh, right.
We found that out.
And in
In
WandaVision,
616.
Yes.
and in WandaVision, Monica Rambeau got the photon powers.
Right. So she's
Right.
different.
It
But-
creates. That's the one where Maria got the cosmic powers instead of Carol Danvers,
Carol
Right.
Danvers.
and she became Captain Marvel.
Gotcha. But then in that universe, she's now dead.
Yeah.
Because
of
rocks.
Rock-
Rocks.
Because
rocks, of course.
rocks beat lasers.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Apparently,
Thanos, the Mad Titan, can punch you into outer space using the Power Stone, and you're fine. But if a rock falls on you, clearly you're going to die.
Right.
yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why you're confused.
Well, and let's talk about the rest of the Illuminati there. You've got John Krasinski playing the world's smartest man in
Right.
Reed Richards, and he doesn't plan for a contingency where Wanda might be going crazy and actually doing this.
Right.
And he just sees Strange. It took
He saw
Xavier,
Strange as the threat. Yeah.
Yeah.
and he had no weapon. He had no ultimate nullifier, if you will, to figure out Wanda, to contain Wanda.
Yeah, his plan was just stretchy fist.
How much did he know about Wanda before second Strange showed up though?
Don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I
Don't-
mean,
I mean
probably
the
a
dark
decent
hole.
amount.
The dark hole. Well, and that's the thing. You know,
In that universe, Wanda wasn't the threat though. It was Strange who was the threat.
Yeah,
Right.
Apparently, yeah.
yeah, with the dark hole though. But
Right.
if he's
With
coming through and saying, "Hey, my Wanda's,"
It's like they were the point is they were blinded by Doctor Strange because they had to mess with him in the first place.
Right.
Here he comes again. They're blinded by now they got
they
blindsided
didn't.
by
Yeah, they didn't see the real threat in the dark hold
Right.
and the corruption of the dark hold, and they were focused just on Stephen Strange.
yeah. And he died just like Black Bolt, where Wanda just kind of looked at him and went, "Well, you're dead."
Yeah.
He just kind of
Spaghetti.
spaghettied. He's spaghettified. That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Spaghettification.
He's spaghettificationed all over.
That
the
is
place.
what happens when a human being.
The new
approaches
school of
the
magic
black
for
hole.
wizards, spaghettification.
Unless you watch Interstellar, and then that's not true.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Just make sure you go al dente.
You have to
So-
go really fast.
Yeah.
So John Krasinski, I love the casting. They're
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's
Just
good.
because
It's just obvious.
he just looks like him.
He does.
He fits so perfect.
But my question is, like, so
Just like-
now do you have to be tied to
true.
him?
yeah. You're gonna be.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Or is it because it's the multiverse?
Also dead in that universe, so now he'll have to be. But he could be in 616.
Correct. Yeah.
And that's the thing about the multiverses. You could have the same actor play the same characters in different universes, or not. You could have completely different actors play the same
Exactly.
characters in
Correct.
different universes because universes.
Right, because they didn't have an animated Professor Xavier roll up there. That would have been funny.
I'm-
A cartoon.
That would have been pretty funny.
If we had Loki
Yeah.
or Loki, we could have had
Yeah, right.
so many
Yeah,
other
like, we
things.
got a bunch of different actors for Loki in Loki,
Right.
and, hell, Aaron Taylor Johnson and
Can still,
Evan
could
Peters.
still come back. They
And-
could all still come back.
And, we also got Evan Peters from the Fox X-Men.
Except he wasn't really Quicksilver. He
Right.
was.
It was the neighbor.
He was the neighbor.
He could. Yes,
What
but
was his
only
name,
in
Fred?
616.
Yeah, that's
Was his name
fair.
Bend Over or something? I don't know, something like that.
Ralph Boner.
Ralph Bone.
Bend Over, Ralph Boner, or whatever.
Same thing.
Bend Over, Ralph.
Let's
Boner.
talk about how terrible
Rover
the
Rider.
rumors were.
Captain
made
America
Rover Rider.
has a shield made of vibranium, and Hawkeye has a shield made of Quicksilver.
Well,
Too soon.
it's been 7 years.
Ah,
actually
look.
has been
What-
7
what-
years.
Hey.
What kills me is
Reavers running through the wash. Come on,
Oh.
that's still too soon.
he doesn't get that joke. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I have tried to show him the greatness that is Firefly,
Oh.
and he has resisted.
Yeah, same with The Wire.
Oh my
I
god.
can't get him to watch either of the.
I
Yeah,
haven't seen either of them either. It's okay.
really?
Yeah, no. We've had that conversation.
Okay. We have to fix that.
Yes,
What else-
but you're not
what-
his flesh and blood.
So what else about the Illuminati? Patrick Stewart was the greatest.
Yes.
John Krasinski was awesome casting, but died too soon.
Yes.
Captain Carter give the best fight. Weirdly, oddly.
And
I actually like Haley Atwell.
Well, right,
yeah,
they-
I actually
Oh
love-
my god, that's
and I
my
love how
favorite
they
character.
actually-
I want to see a movie of just her. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are like, it's fan service, it's stupid. I'm like, I
love
think
how they
she's
actually
awesome.
made-
The
As
TV show was really good.
Oh,
I
it
thought
really
she held
was.
her own.
I thought it was great.
And I love how they actually kind of made her look a bit bulkier, like
Yeah, oh, yeah.
super soldier
Yes,
serum.
I thought
Yes.
it was perfect. It was
Yes.
so good, man. I was so impressed.
Yep.
And
I would
also,
absolutely watch a whole movie or a whole series on just her.
And also, I love like the 1960s style jetpack she's got on.
Hey, Captain Sexy Pants. I didn't see that you joined us. How you doing, brother?
Did you guys hear the rumors that? Okay, so let's see. Tom Cruise was supposed to be one of the heads of the Illuminati at one point.
He was
He was supposed to be Tony Stark.
Because wasn't
Yeah,
Tony Stark
I'm
in the Illuminati?
Yes.
Yes.
And
So
So,
they just
they were gonna
made
make
that.
originally up for the role
I heard
before
that, yeah.
Robert Downey got it.
Didn't they?
They-
So how do they explain just leaving that out? It's just movies. They just leave it out.
Yes.
They can just make up
essentially.
whatever version
Right.
of the Illuminati.
Right.
They right after the movie came out, they did poo poo the idea that it was something they talked about around the table when they were writing it about how it would be interesting to do, but they never
Dreamcasting kind of thing.
right, but
Yeah.
they never even wrote Tony Stark into that.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're gonna if you're gonna put Tony Stark in, like, why would you spend all that money on a Tom Cruise cameo when you could just do Robert Downey Jr. and back up a dump load of cash on him?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, is it because Top Gun's coming out and they need to cross promote?
Well, you never know, right? I mean, Deadpool had Brad Pitt in it for 1.5 seconds. So, I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
sometimes actors just do goofy stuff to be
Right.
goofy sometimes,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of it's like,
if
hey,
you're
we're hanging out.
Well, and, the Illuminati, that doesn't mean it was all of the Illuminati. There
Right.
could have been other members of the Illuminati, and he could be member of the Illuminati in a different universe.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think the iteration of Iron Man that they were talking about was the superior Iron Man, was
Yeah.
what they had talked about Cruise being, and he's kind of an ass. The I'm so smart and you're so dumb kind of ass.
Yeah, so the Tom Cruise and Tropic Thunder.
That actually feels like it would be perfect for
Yes, kind of there. And I think maybe I think bringing Robert Downey Jr. in to play that kind of an ass, even though he is kind of that kind of an ass.
Yeah.
But to take it to that extreme, I think that kind of tarnishes the
sacrifice.
and everything. I think having a different
I can see that.
maybe
I know, I can see it, absolutely.
maybe I don't know.
Can we just make Johnny Depp Iron Man, for God's sakes? Can that just happen as a superior Iron Man? He'd be great as a superior.
I
Iron
think
Man.
they should have made Bruce Campbell.
I think
that
he's-
version of Iron Man.
That would be awesome.
I was waiting for that cameo.
I
mean,
think he said. I think Depp said he's not working with Disney again, sadly. But like,
I
that'd be fun.
We'll see what happens.
I wanted this
Johnny
is
Depp
my
makes a lot of
Mark 50 album this is my Mark 50 armor and this is my boomstick.
right.
Oh.
Exactly.
Oh hell yeah! Oh
Yeah.
no, the boomstick is just like an attachment to like the suit's arm.
I'm telling you, Tony Stark.
It is just his arm, yeah.
Explaining, back to Sam Raimi, right? So
No, wait.
explaining the Bruce Campbell last what do they call it, the post-credit scene,
Right.
Yeah.
to my kids, why that was super cool on multiple levels, why
Right.
that was super cool, why he's punching himself in the face because he has an arm or whatever, and then the whole Ferris Bueller Day Off, almost it's over, like
Yeah.
Love it.
is there that again another wink to the a wink but not really a wink to the audience, fourth wall stuff.
So it's
The
so
first post-credit scene.
there were two.
Well, no. Ferris Bueller's
Oh,
Day Off
yes.
was the first movie
With the
with a
post-credits?
post-credit scene that I know of. You had Smokey and the Bandit and the Cannonball Runs where they ran the
Right.
bloopers,
The blooper reels,
during it, but I don't remember.
That's the first one where he comes out and talks to the audience.
Right.
let's see what Google comes up with.
Good.
Technically, it
And-
says The Silencers in 1966.
And
Yeah, that doesn't count. Nobody saw it.
and honestly, I was hoping the Bruce Campbell cameo would be him showing up as like a version of Mysterio, because reportedly in like the original script for Spider-Man 4, there was just going to be a montage with Spider-Man stopping a bunch of crimes, and then one of them, he was bringing Mysterio into this police station, and they were going to pull out the helmet to reveal Bruce Campbell.
Nice.
Like that would have been a fun little reference.
It's just, at this point, Bruce Campbell is always a nod to the audience, right?
Plus,
Because he is such a iconic,
But here's the thing.
guy, right? Actor at this point.
So
I haven't
Sam
watched a
Raimi,
Hallmark movie with him in it.
no,
Sam Raimi, because there are three actors he puts in all of his movies, regardless. Well, 4 if you count the car, right? He's got that Oldsmobile, that tan brown Oldsmobile of his. But you've always got Bruce Campbell will show up.
Ted Raimi.
Ted Raimi will show up, and I didn't catch him in this. Did you catch him anywhere?
I didn't.
Let me check IMDb.
And then Timothy Quill. And Timothy Quill from the original Spider-Man movie was the cop that, hey, why didn't you stop him?
Oh, gotcha.
They all went to school together. So Tim
yeah.
Quill he's always that one background dude with like
Sure.
one line maybe. And I didn't catch either Tim Quill or Ted Raimi in this one, which I find unusual.
to the Google.
To the Google.
I'm already on IMDb.
Look at
Oh,
that.
what you say?
I'm looking.
Overall, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
Yeah, it was absolutely fun. It was all like, it was very Marvel movie. I thought it had some good, themes to it. The kind of sacrifice and the motherhood and the whole, the narcissism, and the self-exploration. You want a character to grow a little bit, and so
Right.
Doctor Strange, kind of forcing him to grow, and this America Chavez character. That's a trope to having the old grizzled guy who's really smarter than everybody else, but yet you get the young kid who comes in and shows him how to really live.
I got
going back to like True Grit and stuff like that. I mean, it's
Right.
a very old trope, and it's been around forever and ever and ever.
One
but-
Wolf and Cub kind of
all that kind of stuff, right? So.
I mean, do we think the reason for the growth is
But it's
that
good.
one credit scene where obviously, wow, I can't remember.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize Theron's character pops up because obviously that becomes Doctor Strange's wife in future comics.
Yep.
Right.
But you have to get him to that point where like he's ready for,
He's ready to move past Christine
past Christine, past himself.
right.
So like, do you think that's what the whole point of this movie was?
So the thing is, I think we've been seeing growth from Strange since because he was in Spider-Man, right?
Yes.
And he is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme. He had Wong had
Wong.
to take it over when
Ahoy.
Can I just
when
say
he
I
blipped out.
Can I just say I loved Wong in this
Oh yeah,
movie?
he's awesome.
I love. He's good in everything.
Yeah, he's just good. in everything.
Not to mention clips of just some of his like one specific line of his have been circulating, just like the sorcerers falsify your mind. Like just the delivery on that was hilarious.
That's the scene you go to.
It's funny. All right,
But
TikTokers.
right.
Tucker's right.
God damn it! My train of thought is back at the station boarding again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, no, I mean we started to see Strange starting to have to learn humility after having to, it's like he has to blip out. He
Right.
comes back, and Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme now for 2 movies. He's not the end all be all. While yes, he does card, the portal in New York, the Sanctum Sanctorum in New York.
Yeah.
He is not the one that is ultimately responsible. It's fallen to Wong, so it's kind of, even going back to Spider-Man, he broke it, and now it's like shit. Don't cast that spell. Don't worry, we won't.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I fucked that up
Yeah,
because I
right.
listened to the kid. So I don't know. I think we started to see some growth from him because honestly, as much as I like Benedict Cumberbatch and as much as I like Doctor Strange as a character, the first movie and even Avengers
Infinity War.
Infinity
Same
War.
character.
Not only is it just the same character, but it was he felt kind of flat to me. I enjoyed the movies, but as a character, he was just he's just there. It's like, I'm flat.
Yeah.
I'm the best. His delivery was so monotone through it all. And it kind of, it didn't sit. It wasn't perfect for me.
I think that's probably what
This
they're
was
recognizing.
much closer
Yeah.
to the Doctor Strange that I'd hoped he'd be in the first movie. So I'm liking the growth that we're getting out of the character and out of the actor in the role. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is coming into his own in this role, right? He's a great actor, but honestly, Doctor Strange and Khan Noonien Singh feel kind of the same in that first movie, right?
I really like Bandersnatch Cumberbatch. He's pretty good.
I actually just had a realization. If we can get him and if we can get Doctor Strange and Everett Ross to meet at some point in the MCU, it'll be another Sherlock reunion.
There we go. I prefer, what is it, Benedict Cumberbatch?
Right.
Bring me a Cinnabon.
Bring me a Cinnabon. Yeah. He's really
Benedict
good.
Cumberbatch.
That's right. Children.
Anyway,
All right.
God, I'm a 12-year-old.
I know.
Aren't we?
Anyway, but no, I like the growth that we got. I agree with you there. I like the growth that we're seeing in Strange as a character through the
bit,
MCU.
I'm actually just curious because we've talked about this in the past. Expectations are fandom's like worst enemies.
Yes.
Regardless.
100%.
So I'm trying to figure out what are people expecting? Because right now, it seems like Phase 4 of the MCU is all about exploration and setting up a bunch of new characters. And there is that threat, but there's no Thanos yet. Well, and it's all about just explorating and like character growth, setting up the next generation,
Introspection.
like a handoff, introspection. But like, there's no like this thing. Side-scrolling boss. We're like, here's the medium boss, here's the big boss. There's none of that yet.
No, we don't. Well, we don't know that because we know
we're
that
getting the hints of like scrolls and stuff.
And not to mention, Kang the Conqueror has been introduced.
You've got Kang coming, and you've got the Skrulls coming.
Yep.
And I wonder, and I don't know, but who knows how far this stuff is written in stone or not. But you got to imagine on some level when they put out a movie like this, the production houses the studios look at how popular is America Chavez and how popular was this version of Captain Carter and how popular what's trending on Twitter. I mean, I know that's very simplistic, but you mean from a popularity, and they're going to maybe not change the overall scope of things, but they may the end may still be the end, but the way they get there may change drastically, and so they have to kind of figure out what's good and what plays well and what people like.
People don't really like Eternals. Maybe we don't do a sequel,
right?
Right.
So we're going to change the path to get to the same place, right? But instead of going through multiple Eternals movies, we're going to go through multiple of these movies and then do Captain Carter, a big movie.
The thing of it is, if I may for just a moment, I think Kevin Feige cares less about the Twitter trolls than just about anybody else in Hollywood.
I don't mean trolls. I just mean they screen every movie before it's released to see how it, and they will change the ending of a movie based on a few dozen showings at movie theaters. So I mean, that they do pay attention to that stuff, generally speaking. And again, maybe not as much as I would like to think that they do. Maybe they don't at all, right? I don't know, but how do I know these things? I have no clue. But
I mean, Kevin, remember, this is the man who's so beholden to the building of the larger universe and telling of the larger story over a decade plus that he didn't fire, but Edgar Wright left Ant-Man. But 90% of what he wrote was still the movie that we got.
Right.
Because he didn't want to feel beholden to the greater MCU. He wanted to tell his one story as a one-shot comic, if you will, that has no bearing on the rest of the universe. And Kevin Feige's like, well, and I get that. And, shit. I saw fucking ignorant trolls on Twitter bagging on the new Thor trailer because Jane Foster's like, oh sure, they're gonna take his hammer and give it to the chick. I'm like, please tell me you realize
be ignored, and they go on the pay no mind list. I mean, they really do.
And while they absolutely should and do, I'm like, please tell me you realize that 8 years ago this was a very, very successful, well received comic book run by an Eisner Award winning writer this
course
isn't.
they don't.
It sold amazingly. I mean,
Right.
it sold millions
Yeah,
of copies.
a lot of
right?
fans
So-
have been complaining that the MCU is going more in the direction of the MCU, which
because it's been the M Manu for I don't know how long have comics been around?
Right.
not to
A really
mention-
really long time. And now I'm not
Well-
saying there haven't been female characters forever and ever, but I mean let's just be honest.
And not
right?
to mention, it's not exactly like the Kevin Feige's fault that a lot of the Marvel hero counterparts that would come up as the newer generation are female. Like Ironheart, Kate
Yeah.
Bishop,
It's-
Jane Foster.
It's almost like there's a lot of new people that want to get into comic books now,
And they wanna represent themselves.
50% of them are women, and they'd like to see representation. Isn't that
Right.
bizarre and
It's. I mean, here's the thing, people. It's called comics, and you have a target audience. And if you want to spend more of an expand your target audience, there's another 50% of the population that's been untapped.
weird? Right.
Right.
It doesn't mean you get rid of this. You just
You
have
add to
50%
it.
more. You
Right.
add more.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ethan Van Skyvers of the world can just go jump
You
off
went-
a fucking cliff
mean,
as far
yeah.
as I can, as far as I'm concerned. It's Comics Gate is. God damn it!
I don't want to. I don't want to get too political on this, to be honest with you, especially in this space.
Yeah.
No.
But I think that it's worth saying kind of what we've said, right? Representation is a thing.
Yes.
It should exist.
Yes.
I'm sure we all agree on that.
Yes.
We're all of a
100%.
like mind like that. And I think Pasquale, I think you said it perfectly. You know, I said that's exactly what it is, and that's why it is, and that's what it should be.
And how
And
about-
anybody who disagrees with
Yeah.
that on just about any level,
Yeah.
we could probably all agree is just wrong. Like
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
you can't you just can't. Like you can
Right.
argue nuance and you can argue individual movies or stories
Right.
or comics or whatever. Certainly you can argue those things. Specifics, you can always argue
You
specifics.
can argue company motivations. You can argue
Exactly.
any of that.
In money and politics, you can have opinions about those things. That's totally cool. Like everybody's allowed opinions. I have some of my best friends have opinions that vary wildly from mine.
Absolutely.
and that's
Yeah.
okay. But I don't think you can argue that this genre, whether it be movies or comics or whatever, the superhero genre, and indeed the science fiction genre. Look at Star Wars.
Yep.
Look at all the stuff. Well, now, of course, it's all owned by Disney, but so you can you can argue the Disney genre, right? But I mean, I read plenty of fantasy books. We play lots of Dungeons and Dragons. We do all kinds of all of these things. We're seeing a revolution and it's a brand new world when it comes to representation.
Yes.
And those of us. Anybody who's got a brain in their head understands that's a good thing, not a bad thing. So
Right.
I think that's frankly
Because when I was coming up in nerddom, I wanted more people. I wanted girls to be interested in the same
Are
shit
you
I
kidding
was
me?
interested
yeah.
in.
Hey, you guys gonna go play some D&D? Yeah. Oh, my girlfriend wants to come. Cool. Like you have a girlfriend? Like
Well, no,
and she wants to play D&D?
No.
That's awesome.
See, I wanted. Can she bring friends?
Yes,
That's the
exactly. Right.
question.
Yeah.
It's like
we
I
play at
don't-
her house. Are her friends coming over? You know, like,
Right.
Yeah, because it's always just the guys hanging out.
Instead,
Like,
I got picked on for the shit that and
Yeah.
girls looked at me and went, Star Wars.
we wanted more women in our games. We did what we could to get them in. I played
Absolutely.
every girlfriend and every wife I've ever had. Well, there's only been one. But every girlfriend and every wife I've ever had, I've gotten to play Dungeons and Dragons. Some did it more than once. My wife did it once. So I told my wife, I said, okay, you walk down the path. You hear something in the bushes. She says, I hear something in the bushes. I said, yeah. She says, well, I go the other direction. I'm like, that's not how Dungeons and Dragons work. She said, you said I could do anything I want. Now you're telling me I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons wrong. So
Yeah.
so anyway,
That is funny.
Anyway.
despite that, we need representation.
Indeed.
We need more
Agreed.
women.
D&D clubs I've either joined or formed, a lot of the members have been female.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that's great, and that's much more of a newer generation. So it's
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my political. That's not even political.
It's
that's
not
just my
political.
opinion.
Not even- yeah, that's the thing.
That's my take on the whole thing. So
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. So anywho, all right. So
should we talk about the ending? How do we feel about the ending
You,
of
you mean Scarlet Witch collapsing the mountain on her?
yes?
Um,
Well, the whole Doctor Strange as the sleepwalking zombie,
the third eye.
the third eye.
That third eye, like I remember. I'm glad I didn't hear the spoilers because when it happened, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that was pretty freaky.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ.
let's see.
I did kind of like that. What was that? They didn't name that one part of the universe, right? The dark black. like where he was at, like the house?
I'll just call it
Oh,
E4.
No.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They did not tell us which universe that
It was cool though.
That was
gets back
cool.
to the visuals. I mean,
Yeah.
and that was all obviously completely animated, but it was
Agreed,
really cool.
Ulfgar.
Looking. It looked really good.
Oh, and what do you guys think of the music battle?
Oh, that was cool though.
My daughters thought my daughter that I went with, she thought that was the coolest part of the whole movie.
Right.
She thought that was awesome.
Did she?
There's someone
did
that's
she look at
actually
all the
suing
notes and
them
stuff?
as that it was a ripoff of somebody else's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I read an article
I don't know.
about
It
that.
reminded me of Scott Pilgrim.
It did. Yes.
bit.
Yeah.
A lot of that. Yeah.
Like
It was
the
kinda
bass
funny.
battle.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Or like the keyboard battle.
Did your daughter
with
basically
the
like-
fifth and sixth
Oh,
Fs.
those
Right.
notes are like on the wrong class.
No, she's not that musical, but
But I-
she thought that was great. I'm like, yeah, that was actually. It was just because it was very visually striking.
As a bard as a person who likes to play bard in D&D, I had a lot of fun with that.
You're a walking bard. You
Oh,
are.
hell yeah, man.
You're a walking bar.
Charisma now. I have a 20 charisma.
That's right, you do.
All right. Okay, here it is. It was on Kotaku. Black Dev says it's highly possible that Doctor Strange fight scene copied his game.
Oh gosh, you're one of them.
Sword of Symphony, the in-development music-based JRPG from solo developer Stephen Dungu, is back in the public conversation again, apparently after director Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness hit the same. They might have copied a sequence from his Kingdom Hearts-inspired game. Oh, he gets to rip off Kingdom Hearts, but Doctor Strange doesn't get to rip him
course.
off.
Wow.
So,
well, you know,
yeah.
it's all about degrees, apparently.
So I'll link this in the chat if you guys want to read it later. I saw this article a little bit ago. Okay, so what is everybody's opinion on She-Hulk? We'll come to that in a few. We'll talk about that trailer.
Yeah, for sure. We did. Did we talk a little bit? About
We did a little
A little bit.
because you guys were talking about the CGI.
Yeah, I haven't really seen
And I-
anything about it since,
Like,
but I'm
it
certainly
seems
happy.
like
to...
it's going to be fun. I just really hope they touch up the CGI.
So apparently, there's a new trailer on Disney Plus where they
It's
have
already.
where they
Oh.
updated the CGI.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the thing with
Does it
Disney
look
can do
better?
with Disney Plus. They can stealth update things.
Sure.
The one
yeah.
question is, does it look better?
It does.
It does. From what I've seen, it does.
But who cares? It's Tatiana Maslany.
She's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
She is.
yeah. If the actress is good, cool. But like, if her character is going to be CGI through,
Yeah, if she looks like Fiona
through.
through the whole thing, I'm going to be very
Yeah,
disappointed.
The story looks. I don't
Wait, don't
I don't
they
know
make
enough
that?
about the story.
Don't
but
they make a Fiona comparison in the trailer?
I don't think they do. No.
I'd have to go back and watch it
Yeah,
again.
I don't know.
Anyway, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping for a Daredevil reappearance there too. Makes sense.
Oh yeah.
In She-Hulk?
Yeah,
I don't know that reference.
Well,
they're both lawyers.
Oh, that's true.
in the
Yeah.
Marvel universe.
But are in New York.
Yeah,
They're both lawyers.
He's in Hell's Kitchen.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the history.
Yeah,
I don't think they've ever teamed up in the. I mean, they might have, but it's somewhere down the line. But
It's always fun to drop a cameo in somewhere.
exactly.
Or hell, just have like Bob Odenkirk just show up as a random lawyer. Like, it doesn't
Okay.
even.
Okay, that needs to happen.
What universe is that in, Joey?
414.
414, yeah.
No, I think you meant 420.
420, exactly.
Hell yes.
Yeah, for sure. That's
426 now.
Yeah, I don't know
no,
anything
the
about
correct response,
She-Hulk.
Joey is dead. I have no clue what you're talking about.
I will be a great sounding board for She-Hulk when it comes out because I know nothing of the character other
There
than
you go.
obviously the relation to the Hulk. She's a cousin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know nothing about the comics. I know nothing about the character. I know nothing about why she decides to become the because she decides to become the Hulk, right? Because
Yeah.
he's I see her in the Thing. Like getting the treatment, and then she punches the thing to Hulk out, right?
So
that's like, I
in the
don't know,
comics,
Rips
in the-
off the door.
it'll be interesting to find out what that's all about from my perspective because I have no clue.
in the comics, she got a transfusion from her cousin, and that's what
And that's what
irradiated
did
her.
it,
Yeah.
Kinda
Because she
like-
had to. She was dying.
Kind of like
Yeah.
what happened with Beast Boy and Young Justice. He needed blood, so Miss Martian gave him some blood. Boom,
and
that's how he could
everyone
transform
knows if you get blood from somebody, you get all of their genetic material.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
Well,
It's
it's
just good science.
Yeah.
It's the gamma. It's the gamma
Now in
radiation.
the 80s, HP.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, everybody knows that. It's just good science.
If
but-
there's
but
one
who knows?
thing that weird science taught me,
If there's any,
Did you put a bra over your head when you're operating a computer?
that a Pershing 2 missile will grow out of your house.
and all you need to do is take 2 alligator clips and put it on a a paper photograph, and you can create a woman. That's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah.
Kelly LeBrock.
Kelly LeBrock.
Gosh.
I still
And
need to-
who was the chick
still
in
need
the
to
TV
watch
show
that
version
movie.
of it? She was hot too.
I do not remember.
I still need to watch
I watched
that
the Weird
movie.
Science TV.
Misogyny showing. Careful.
Yeah,
Careful.
I know.
Anywho,
Jamie's misogyny doesn't count.
so let's go back to the end of the movie. What did I think of Doctor Zom? I mean, I loved the snaring of the souls to be his cape.
I did.
That was
That
awesome.
was really pretty cool.
Yeah, it was all very. It was cool. Certainly visually, it was cool.
It had the rule of cool
It
factor.
had the rule of cool.
Oh,
I actually felt like it was very humorful.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
especially with the zombie strange, was
Right.
kind of meant to be, and that's Sam Raimi. He does everything
and I love
tongue in cheek. Everything he does, right? It's
and I love how instead of just Strange doing everything himself, he let Chavez do the stuff. Like he decided, no, he's not going to be the one holding the knife. Character growth.
I agreed.
trust.
As to Wanda collapsing on everything on herself, the very end of the movie.
That's the other heel turn. Like the sudden, oh, I'm a bad person. Now I'm just gonna.
Well, yeah, it's because she saw her
I'm
kids running away in fear.
I get it. I do get it. Like I don't know that it's good, bad, or otherwise. I don't know. It just always kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I have a hard time when you paint yourself in a corner with this,
Yeah.
woman with the dark hold. Like, how do you defeat?
Right. What I need to do for my own personal edification is find a good example of it so that I can compare what I feel like is not a good example against, and maybe I can't find a good example, and so it's just me thinking wrong.
So-
you know what I mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
so a heel turn in a traditional sense is it always bad going to good, or is it just
No, absolutely, it can be both ways. Yeah, that's the kind of
Yeah.
that's the Targaryen, the Khaleesi from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, yeah,
She was
like
she won. She was good, and then she decided, oh no, I'm just gonna murder everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, King's Landing
She was
surrendered.
she was gonna free the slaves and free everybody and free the world and from oppression, and then suddenly she just decided she's gonna murder everybody. Right?
Yeah.
That's the other direction.
Peace, no matter how many people I
Yeah, no
have
matter
to
how
kill.
many people. That Peacemaker's a good example. I think
Yeah.
it
I did
might
not-
be a good example.
I did
He
not.
is.
of a well done heel turn. Right?
Yes.
I did not come here to be queen of the ashes. One season later.
Ashes. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Is Jamie considered a heel turn?
No, I think he played true to
Eh.
himself.
It's
Very in the books.
it's mucky, honestly.
In the
thought you
books,
were-
it was
Stop that
just a
now.
much more gradual. But
Saying
I
mucky?
think
In the TV show season
Saying
two, like,
mate.
after he
You
gets
gave us a
handcuffed
bad
and
British
he's hanging
accent
out
there
with,
as you said that.
yeah.
I
He's
didn't even
very-
realize I was slipping.
I don't know that I would call that a heel turn though, because he's always been a character of questionable morals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He
heel turn's more abrupt.
he does a lot of the wrong. He does a lot of the right things for the wrong reason, and sometimes he does the wrong things for the right reason.
Gotcha.
A
No,
la
I-
murdering the king, right? That was probably
Wrong thing, right
the
reason.
wrong thing, right reason, right? But
Yeah.
Or like, but I mean, ditching Brienne to go back to die with Cersei, like
yeah.
that felt like wrong thing for the wrong reasons.
Right, exactly. So he's always been kind of a character of questionable morals. But anyway, I didn't like that she effectively ended her own life. Right? I don't know. It just always rubs me the wrong way. Like I hate
I
to
get
see
that.
I hate to see characters, especially women, doing that. I don't like that in movies and popular
There is some
culture.
sort of trope, self-sacrificing woman.
Yeah.
Well, but
I just don't like it. I think it sends the wrong message on a lot of levels. I didn't like it. If any of you saw Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but the new version, what was it
I haven't
called?
finished it. Spoil it.
Spoiler, sorry.
No,
It's been a couple years, so
It is.
sorry about that. But yeah, that ends in a similar way, and I didn't like the way that felt either with teenage girls, and so I never liked that. Now I don't know how often it happens. Maybe just because those are two examples that I have top of mind.
Hell, in Rogue One, granted, it's not a girl doing it, but Saul Guerrera staying behind on Jeddah to die when the Death Star laser blew everything up.
Well, why don't you said Jim did it too?
If they have an option to get away, that's one thing. But if they don't have an option to get away, that's another. Right?
Saul had an option.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know why they would need to do that if they have an option to get away. It's like I'm going to die for the greater good, or to be a martyr, or to like I don't see any glory in
Yeah, he was just like, I will run no longer.
in ending thyself. I don't really see the glory in that, so I don't really like that. But that
Yeah.
may just be a me thing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think,
And like you said, in comics, nobody ever dies.
right.
So,
I think in this particular instance,
is that like a trope? Is that the idea?
trope.
Yeah, right.
Which-
Apocalypse Maiden. Yeah.
Apocalypse Maiden.
Yeah. Especially Maiden, right? The woman. Always
That's what I mean. It's
have-
specifically.
And
Sure, how-
I'm
excellent
going to
point.
guess that you could find a lot of talk
well,
about
and the funny top thing is
male written stories where the woman always kills herself to save
the
to
first
finish it.
quote is from Agatha Harkness from WandaVision.
Or hell,
On top-
it could. Another good example of that. Either use of the Dark Phoenix in the X-Men movies, Wolverine having to kill Jean, or Jean sending that alien to space and then becoming the Firebird.
right.
Not
It's
just
so, and that's something I wanted to touch on too, is the comparison of both Dark Phoenix movies to
Yeah.
WandaVision, because one of the things about the Wanda arc, like I said, they have given us examples over and over and over from the beginning of the trauma she's endured in her life and the ways that she's broken, the bad things that have happened intentionally and unintentionally. Sokovia,
Yeah.
she's the whole reason for the Sokovia Accords, on top of losing Vision and losing her kids and all of this stuff that made her go mad.
Yeah.
And they did it, in my opinion, while you may not agree with her heel turn to evil, they've been building from the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas the problem with both of the X-Men iterations of the Phoenix saga, right? It's like, okay, so for the first one, we get Jean Grey for one movie. She sacrifices herself in the second,
And then comes back all
back crazy in the third.
and dies again.
And we didn't have enough time to give two shits about the character of Jean Grey. Right? There was no impact in her for her sacrificing herself at the end of the second movie, right?
Yeah.
Unlike Star Trek, Star Trek 2, the reason that Spock was so powerful is because we had the whole, he was the central character of the whole original series and now the second movie. And so I don't think that Jean Grey dying there had the punch. And then even if that's how you want to do it, okay, that's how you want to do it. And she comes back, there's no build to her turning evil, right?
How, it's even worse with the reboot because
Right.
we have even less time with the original Jean. Like we get introduced to her in Apocalypse, and then Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Like
And
goes on a
and
mission, comes back with a weird space
You know,
possession.
I will say the only difference with the Phoenix stuff, especially the new Phoenix, as opposed to Wanda, where Wanda's always Wanda. She's influenced by the other thing,
The Darkhold.
but she's always Wanda. She always sounds like Wanda. She always
Right.
acts like Wanda. Whereas in the Phoenix, I feel like the Phoenix is much more of, is at least portrayed as a much more powerful alien entity. Like
Like a possession type thing.
Exactly. Whereas the Darkhold is an influence. They don't really, and it could. I always wonder about this. The writers of the story, and I'm not a story writer. I'm not a creative, right?
right.
I always wonder about the creators of the story, because they live with it and they've created it and they've written it over years. Often, they know these things intrinsically, so that it's hard. It may be hard for them to portray on screen or in a comic or in a book what they've got in their brain. They understand it because
Right.
they've lived with it for 5 or 10 or 20 years.
Yeah.
Whereas they're trying to show what they've lived with for 5 or 10 or 20 years to us on a TV screen, even though it might be across 10 movies or 5 movies, whatever
Right.
the case may be. It's still hard to show that in that limited period of time, and X-Men is even worse, right? Because
Yeah.
even though I think it's a little different, but I just wonder how that, it must be challenging as a creative to be able to do that. You've got this vision, you've got this story, and in your head it makes sense because you've thought it through and written it all out, but now you have to carve it into chunks and now film it as scenes, and those scenes have to be enough definition and enough story in various almost disjointed fashion to get your meaning across. And I think that those movies that we find the best and the stories that we find the best, those are creators and writers and editors and directors that are able to get that across.
Right.
And the ones that aren't, right? And,
Right.
and I wonder how challenging that is. Like, Tony, you seem to have a really good grasp of that, and you really feel like boy, you got her character from start to finish, and maybe that's because you really understood the movies better than I did, perhaps. B, probably because you've been a comic fan a lot longer than I have.
Sure.
And there's that aspect of it too, right? The vast majority of the people going to see these movies may be comic familiar, but not comic.
But I think if you go
comic
right,
collectors or fans.
But my analysis of Scarlet Witch is based strictly on what we've seen on the screen. Now
I know it is.
You know, it is important to have
But
watched.
you still have that.
Oh, sure,
knowledge
sure.
in the back of your head,
Right,
Which is my
because-
point with the creators. The creators have that knowledge in the back of their head, just like I have the X-Men knowledge of Professor X in the back of my head,
Right.
so I get where they're coming from with Professor X in my limited comic fandom.
Yeah, well, and it's less about that and more about. I've been trained to watch these characters. Comics is a never-ending medium, right? So you get to watch the progression, you get to watch the growth of these characters over. When a single story can take 6 months to tell, right? I've now got 35 years in my background. Marvel's been doing these stories since 1961.
Right.
And so the growth and the change of the characters can happen slowly, but it does happen. And I'm always on the watch for that, which is why, everything I've seen in the movies with Wanda's just, she's fucking broken.
Yeah.
Right. She went and had babies because maybe that'll make the relationship better.
Yeah.
In her own mind
I mean, WandaVision was the clear. I mean, you don't need to wonder that she's broken. WandaVision was an entire series showing you how effed
broken
up
she is.
Yeah,
right.
She's broke. Right. She has all kinds of problems.
Right.
And so you were just kind of hoping at the beginning of this one that, okay, now she's out to pasture and she's gonna be left alone, and they give it. Oh no, nope, not broken.
I just
I know
noticed
they
you've got
Tony's
the-
looking over my shoulder and I'm freaking out. A little.
I just noticed that you've got the Terrain Tutors book over there on the shelf.
Yeah, we've had that for a long time.
I didn't. I bought that from his Kickstarter.
Right. Yeah, we got him. Anyway, wow, that was a sidebar.
Sorry, it was.
Tony suddenly gazing longingly over my shoulder.
No, I was
freaked
like-
out there for a moment.
That should be a podcast where we just kind of go through shelf by shelf.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
But no, and part of what Kevin Feige has gotten so right is the movies feel like comic books in that every movie is a self-contained story, but it's adding to the larger mythos as a whole.
Right.
And while every story is self-contained, he's building to something further down the road, right? And you're getting breadcrumbs here, and then when you get down here, they're going back and they're referencing shit that you forgot happened 6 years ago in that one movie with the guy in the place, right? So it kind of makes it all feel cohesive. And the problem that I have with the X movies, with their treatment of Jean Grey is that's one of those, that should have been she should have been the Thanos. It should have been, even if you let her die in the second movie the way they did, even with the first one, okay, she comes back and she should be Jean and the original Phoenix.
Yes.
And you should see this slow burn as she is corrupted by the Phoenix first. But instead what you get is she comes back, she's like, "Oh, hi, I'm back, Scott."
Yeah, right.
And all of a
Yeah.
sudden she's just evil.
Because they only had one movie to do it, right?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and then-
I will say the end of that movie, I was so excited when I saw that at the theater. And the water's coming at her, and she's like, I got it. And then you start to see the fire, and then it turns away. I was just like, oh, that was so cool.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awesome. I was so
X2
excited.
is still one of my favorite
I was so
X-Men
excited
movies.
to see it, and then I was just disappointed when the movie came out. Damn it.
Fuck you, Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
You go take your Hollywood orgies somewhere else
Oh,
and
my
stay away
goodness.
from my favorite franchises.
so
God
sad.
damn
Anyway.
it.
And honestly, nowadays, Brian Singer should probably stay away too.
I think he has, but he'd better stay away from anything Battlestar Galactica. He was rumored to be attached to that. at
Yep.
one point.
Well,
We don't need a third retelling of the same story. Thank you. I think we ended
It's
it
the same
perfectly.
story.
I know. It doesn't need to be told again.
It's a 2,000-year-old story.
Right. Tale as old as time.
Oh, I thought you should have started singing the Book of Mormon.
Different story. Not 2,000 years old.
Hasta
Well,
evil eye.
people are dying in the streets.
Hasta
Okay.
evil eye.
Oh my God! Please, for the love of Pete, stop.
Is this what happens
Okay.
when you do anything theater related?
Yes, I understand. Yes, I know.
Sorry.
I have one now too, so same thing happens. All right, I think this is a good.
okay,
this
so-
is a good example of we've gone too long.
Well,
So,
yeah, and we just keep getting off track
yes,
because
I know.
I keep trying to think about
I
how
think
I
we
feel about
the
because
ending, yeah.
the end.
yeah, give
'cause
us your last
Barnaby
thought there.
plays.
So
I'm kind of torn on it, right? Because
What do you guys think of Clea showing up?
awesome.
I
Yeah.
never heard of her. Don't know who she is.
Dormammu's
exactly.
niece.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean.
I looked
anything,
her up.
right?
I'm like
So,
Doctor Strange's wife. So I'm like, oh, so
I know
And-
nothing. I
Hell
know
yeah.
nothing of her. So
Well,
it's just like Harry Styles showing up the end of Eternal.
Starhawks.
Yeah, I don't know nothing of the character other than my youngest daughter just about losing her mind in
I
the
forgot
theater.
Harry Styles showed up.
Oh my God, she's the hugest Harry Styles.
The
fan.
fact that
She's
we've got
lost her mind.
Furiosa in the MCU makes me happy. How
Right?
about
well,
that?
anything
Hell
Charlize
yeah.
Theron, I'm
Right?
in on. So
I'm not sure how I feel about that. You bring up a good point about the heel turn. I left it and I felt satisfied at that
Yeah.
point in time. It was like, okay, it was a satisfactory
yeah,
ending.
I felt it was satisfactory. I just I don't know.
And
I
the
always
thing-
feel like I don't know that I could have done any better. But
Right. The other thing that it makes me happy is you do not have your hero killing the villain, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the villain takes themselves out over their lack of a will to
be-
live
so
because
so
of
sometimes it's like because then it questions you, was it hero versus villain? So she kind of
Yeah.
it's almost like an instantaneous redemption.
Yeah.
Like you want to see your character go on a redemption story. So maybe the next time we see her, she'll be on her quest to redeem herself,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
yeah.
Also, just a small thing I noticed for Wanda. Have you guys noticed that her accent is completely gone in this one?
Well, they've referenced that a few times.
Yeah.
In WandaVision, they
WandaVision.
referenced it for sure.
Yeah, but like even then at the end when it was like reality and stuff, she still had the accent.
Yeah, and by this point, she doesn't. It's like Elizabeth Olsen's going, do I really have to do that shitty accent again?
Right,
Can
yeah.
we just move past it?
It's
exactly what that is.
it's yeah.
Also, I love
that's a great observation.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have to think about that is garbage, right? That's horrible directing. That's horrible writing. That's horrible producing. Like it should be one thing all the way through, or they need to do the turn like they do in every the best one they ever did is Hunt for Red October when they're speaking Russian
Oh,
and then
yeah,
they
and
zoom
then
in
yep.
and then they zoom out and they're speaking English.
Right.
It needs to be a one-time, very obvious wink at the audience, and then you never mention it again.
or like
But that's why Star
just
Trek
have
works
it-
so well with the Universal Translator.
Right.
or like honestly just have it like fade out with each thing so that when we get to the point where she's doesn't even have the accent anymore.
Tavarish.
I would like to have seen Montana.
And also, I do love how like with the entire like evil getup she's got in the movie,
Yeah.
like they also managed to throw in sparkly eyeshadow.
Like you
I
do.
just felt a little
Because
funny.
of course, if you're an evil sorceress,
Doesn't mean you can't have a good
enchanted by a
beautician.
horrifyingly eternal evil,
Wrecking the
entity,
Right.
you're of course gonna have the time to put on sparkly eye glitter.
If I'm gonna wreck the multiverse, I'm gonna look good doing
Exactly
Well,
correct.
well, the nice thing about Wanda is she can just go blink and it's there.
And it's there.
She
Yeah.
doesn't-
But that's
she
what
doesn't have
she
to-
wants to have sparkly eye glitter.
Absolutely.
it. I just love how they just decided to include that.
Yeah,
That
I do too.
felt a
Those,
little-
So next
those are
up-
great observations.
So next up, we've got in the MCU, we've got She-Hulk, and
Thor,
then
Love and Thunder.
Thor: Love and Thunder, and Miss Marvel. So
I'm excited for all. of them.
yeah, I'd like to, I am too.
we got our first look at Gore the God Butcher, and
Christian Bale, baby.
and he's already being memed.
Christian Bale
one-
is the greatest bad actor. Or is he the worst great actor?
I don't know. I mean, okay, Empire
the
of the
greatest,
Sun.
the greatest bad actor is Nick Cage because
You're probably right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
you know
So is he the worst? Is he the worst good actor?
I'm always so torn on Christian Bale
Because
because
he's
I don't
very
know. I saw a
method.
really bad Giovanni Ribisi doing a really bad Italian accent in the
Yeah.
author.
But I don't think anybody considers
That's-
Giovanni Ribisi a great actor. Like,
No.
do people consider Christian Bale a great actor?
I
Is
think
he a
they
great
consider
actor?
him a
well, the thing
very
is,
method actor.
yeah.
He feels very method all the time.
Oh,
Doesn't he?
he's completely
He's
method.
very
Yeah,
method.
he feels method.
Machinist.
Stupid idiot.
Well, that's just a guy being a dick.
What
but
are you doing?
that's just a guy being a dick. That doesn't mean he's a method actor.
Oh, la-di-da-di-da.
Again, just a guy being a dick. That
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
mean he's a method actor.
But he is. He,
actually do.
from what I've heard, he's pretty
I've heard
much
that too,
always
yeah.
in
I actually
character.
did come to the realization that whole Terminator rant he had on the set of Terminator Salvation,
Yeah.
that was still in his American accents. Like, he was still, like, he didn't revert back to his British.
Oh no. You listen to it again. Oh, la-di-da-di-da.
But I think like in American Psycho, he was brilliant.
But see, the thing of it is, I think
And I think
Most
he's
of his-
good. I think he was good in Batman, and I think he was brilliant in American Psycho.
I loved him in The Big Short.
Big Short.
He was great at
Um, But the thing is,
What's
so
the,
many of his best movies, Big Short being the exception, are kind of those culty movies, or the ones that have a very your American Psychos, your Boondock. No, it wasn't Boondock Saints. What was the Equilibrium?
Maybe,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's Equilibrium. The Gun Kata.
Yeah,
There's the one he
With
did,
Sean Bean?
the one he did with Amy Adams and Jennifer Lawrence, where he played kind of the big fat guy.
Oh, that was Dick Cheney, wasn't it?
No, but he was also Dick Cheney.
He was also Dick Cheney.
that's
in that.
true.
And-
And so now you got Cheney, you got that.
I don't
Okay,
know how he got here, but
I also love.
we were talking about, is he a great actor? And I'm
Yeah,
like, because so many of his roles the roles that spring immediately to
I
mind
call him above average.
are genre films, right?
Oh, he's Gorg the God Butcher. That's why.
Right. It's
So I can just see him right now overacting Gore the God Butcher. That's what I'm worried about. Is that he's just gonna overact it.
right.
He's gonna method act it and overact it and just be a douche the whole time.
He's going to be Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah,
again.
right. Exactly. That's what I'm kind of worried
God,
about.
I hope not.
Although he shouldn't really have a lot of lines, should he?
I mean,
Shouldn't he be mostly action and not?
I think so.
Also, I do love how, like,
No, you're going to get monologues out of him.
Because
Sorry.
he's Christian Bale.
Well, no, because the character is going to monologue on about how his mission to kill the gods.
Well, but he should
Yeah.
only have to do that one time, right? He shouldn't have to go on and on and on.
I do love
Read
these
them
sort
to
of,
Yuma. That's probably one of my
I do
favorites.
love
Yeah,
the sort of
that's good.
escalation of in progression of the roles Christian Bale is taking. He goes from like a psychopathic killer to a vigilante who dresses as a bat to a literal god killer. What's next?
Right?
Yeah.
There's nowhere else to go.
But it's going to
Oh,
be hard
no, there's
because he's
some
got to
other
compete
places.
with not only Chris Hemsworth's muscles, but he's going to have to be compete with Natalie Portman's muscles.
That's right.
Yeah.
She went to the gun show.
Hell yeah.
Anyway.
Guns out.
So, all right. So,
And Russell Crowe.
So next week,
wait,
what do we have a
Russell
topic
Crowe
for next
fight?
week or no?
So Joey's
gonna
been
play,
itching. He's going to be here with us, and he's been itching. We talked about it before he left. He wants to do video games, so we can
Okay.
do our personal video game histories.
I say there's a lot of that's a big topic.
Yeah.
It's a very big topic.
I mean, it can like talk. I was thinking
We can talk
talk about
about-
our favorites.
We can talk. I think going through genres and going through the different types of games.
I think we should do
That
this
we've
as
enjoyed.
a multi-episode over, like, let's narrow.
Well, we'll figure that out. Well, you know us.
Yeah.
We'll figure out.
Oh, we can do a part 2 to this.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping us from that.
We can't go chronologically, otherwise Joey won't be around until part 5.
Right.
You won't be around until part 3.
Right.
So,
Okay, and on this podcast, we're talking 8-bit.
right. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we're
I can
talking
go
about
pre
EA's
8-bit. We can go
Strike
pre
Ball.
8-bit actually.
1979,
Yes.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Okay, 5 1/4 floppies.
Not.
No.
No.
1979, Youngstown, Ohio. Audio cassette tape player was the preferred media of choice.
What was the first floppy was
Eight,
eight-
yeah, they had those eight and a halves,
well,
eight
it
and
went
three
from-
quarter,
It went from eight something to
Oh, wow,
5
we
and a
have
quarter,
eight.
right?
5 and yeah, 3 and 3/4, 5 and a half.
5 and a half.
Yeah. But yes, I can go back. The first computer my dad built that I played Pong on
Yeah.
was
Besides this whole...
no. It's actually quite small. It was probably about this big, but you had the tape deck that you had to plug in, and you had because that's what held the memory.
We got the Pong console.
Yeah.
Where you could play 3 different games.
Pong.
Pong, and Pong.
Oh, you didn't have breakout on that
Well, no,
one?
it was Pong, tennis, and breakout.
It was-
but it was Pong, and Pong.
It was combat for me on the 2600.
Yeah,
with Paul.
right.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
tank
But-
combat and
But we're old enough to go that far back.
Honestly,
Yeah.
nowadays
You're
you'll
close.
probably find some sort of like multiplayer competitive Pong or something.
I owned E.T. for the Atari 2600.
And now
Largely considered
The
the
worst.
worst game ever produced by man.
There's actually a documentary, if you've
There's
seen
a
it,
good one.
where they went where they
Find the
go
lamp
through the
pole.
history, and they go and find the landfill where they buried the games. And they after a couple of days, they were about ready to get. It's like, there's nothing here. Wait a minute, we found something.
And
So we'll have to judge
Spoiler.
how far back we want to go,
and from
Yes, Caro, worse than Shaq Fu.
so that was the worst video game. Have you heard of the hardest video game? I think it was called Takeshi's Challenge.
I've heard of it.
Ghosts and Goblins is right up there.
No.
So I think probably we should keep it to our own personal experiences. That way we'll limit
Yeah,
ourselves.
and
Yeah.
like,
We have
like
to talk about
our
the
own-
grand history of video
and like
games.
our own personal favorites.
I agree, yeah.
December 1961 at a top secret lab
In Hawkins, Indiana.
in NORAD.
Because there are definitely like
More
one
games.
game trilogy and one singular game.
Would you like to play some tic-tac-toe?
Yes, we know you're going to want to
Yes.
talk all about Mass Effect. We know
And Cyberpunk.
and Cyberpunk.
He's calm down.
Wait till I tell you about Mech Warrior 2.
Oh, yes.
And the jumping graphics between Mech Warrior 2 and Mech Warrior 3 were spectacular.
And
Anyway,
16-bit, come on.
oh my
right.
god. All right, so tomorrow night we're going to be painting up some Wookiees. And for those of you who like to follow my hobbying portion of it, I just ordered a whole bunch of LEDs to light up my AA5 speeder
Oh my
truck.
God, you're such a nerd.
I'm going to build it with
Such a
lights.
nerd.
I'm completely a fucking nerd.
Such a nerd.
I am. I'm going to
Love
wire it
I
up.
love it.
You want me to wire up a Rhino with some red lights inside so you can drill out some portals and see red glowing through it? I'll do it for you.
I'm gonna do that with one of my BattleTech mechs. So
Do it.
Giddy up.
Giddy up.
All right. And so, yeah, that's about it. So we'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, and then we'll see you next Tuesday for video games. So I'm Tony.
I'm Joey.
I'm Pasquale.
I'm Grognard Todd.
You've had us monologuing. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great one.
Ciao.
If you had all the power and speed of Frontier Fiber Internet,